Wow. Dying over here. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's live show, we're going to be framing our main floor. So we've got our designs, our schematics, our plumbing, our electrical. We've got a couple of issues we're going to have to address. We're going to bring you along for the ride so we can show you how to problem solve. Important to have the end from the beginning. So we've got a toilet water closet issue we have to address. Got a couple of structural issues we got to address. And we're going to show you how to not only build, but we're going to show you how to renovate. This is not new construction. New construction, everything's already pre-cut, materials come ready to go. When you're renovating, everything is just a little bit different, a little bit off, and a little bit weird and wonderful. So we're going to show you all the tips and tricks so that you can build and reframe your house for yourself so you can change your own floor plan. Having a good understanding of that will make you a master basement renovator, okay? So this is kind of the skill sets that you're going to need. Basements don't come with pre-cut materials ready to just slap in. Everything has to be modified for most basements. So this video, you're going to learn all those tricks. Anyway, I got Matt here today with me on the tools, and we're going to just go through this whole process so that if you're going to, let's say, renovate your basement or do an addition or make modifications to your floor plan, you'll know how to work with the designer and the engineers and do all that kind of work. Get moving forward so you're never going backwards. That's the biggest challenge. A lot of times when you're renovating, you're moving forward, hey, we built the walls, and then you come along, the electrician goes, hey, the stud's in the way, I need you to reframe your wall. The plumber goes, hey, the floor joist is where the toilet's going to go. I need you to reframe your floor. The list is endless. So knowing how to read your plans and then think through your problems, having a lot of experience helps because you know all the different details about the fixtures and where they're located. But in this video, we're going to talk about a lot of the basics so that you can avoid a lot of pitfalls and a lot of mistakes that cost a lot of money. All right. Cheers. Let's just head over to the drawings first, okay? Come on over. We'll show you what we got to work with. Here's the basic. Now, we blew these up so that you guys can see at home. Here's the basic scenario here, okay? We're going to put in a center beam. We're going to vault the ceiling. Those videos are coming. A couple of skylights. That's pretty. But from here over, we're going to reframe. Right now, we just have one big empty space. So I got a bathroom here. I've got a hallway here. I've got a center wall that separates the kitchen from the bedroom. And I've got a built-in kind of like open shelf nook thing going on and then a water closet over here. And the finished design looks like this. So now I know where my plumbing fixtures are. So I got a center line here for my faucet and my tub. In a lot of cases, the drain is center line as well on these tubs. So you need to know what's going on with your floor package in order to fix this. And if you have a joist running right through the middle, then you have to shop for a tub where the drain's on the end. Okay, really good practice. We're gonna have a walk-in shower. That's largely customizable. So I've got all kinds of solutions there. If a joist is where the drain goes, I can go to a linear drain. And Schluter makes an offset linear drain, so it'll be on one side, or you can install it reversed, and it can be on the other side. The offset is guaranteed to have at least one location where you're not going to hit a joist, okay? So if you're buying a drain system from them, they're expensive, they're worth it, but if you get the center, make sure your floor joist isn't in the way. You can't just be cutting out floor joists, that's structure, okay? And that causes all your tile to break as well. Then we have the toilet. All right, so we have this tiny room. It's predetermined. My designer has really nice lines. She's done everything here very intentional. All the lines are very intentional. Even the tub centered on the window, centered on this great big opening. So it's a floor to ceiling door that usually stays open. I love the design. She's brilliant. Her name is Ev. And it's, if you're interested in getting a designer, what's the name here again? Homebyev.com. Go check her out. She's got a great aesthetic, as far as I'm concerned anyway. And if you're looking to find a designer who can help you with like a forever home or a major project, then feel free to give her a ring. She's available to fly around all of North America, okay? So cheers to Ev and cheers to that idea. Now we'll move on to what we have is the design drawings with actual measurements. Now this is a designer drawing, okay? This is not a blueprint for framing. So we have to interpret this a little bit, right? So be careful if you get a drawing like this. It's a 28-inch door, for instance, okay? That's what 2'4" is, but my framing is not 28. I need a 30-inch hole. So we have to think, and from the beginning, tally up all the math, and then figure out the math for ourselves about where that door is going to get located and how it's going to be framed in. And that's fine. We're going to be using some laser levels today, and then we're going to have all that going on, but I have a rough idea where this toilet goes. Now, traditionally, toilets are 12-inch on center from a finished wall. So in this case, we're 12.5 from the studs. So now let's go address the biggest issue we have in this room, the bathroom. I've got it mocked up so we can go and talk about all the problems there. because we got to get a little creative, and we're going to share some industry secrets with you so that you can solve your problem without having to make really ugly bulkheads everywhere, okay? Now, here's my bathroom, give or take. Now, I don't have them lined up perfectly yet. I haven't got the laser out, but I got the right dimension, okay? It's 36 interior inches. And that's, is that finished framing or rough framing? We'll just take a look at that again. 36 finished. Ah, I have another inch to play with, Matt. When you get a chance, I want you to cut me a 37-inch bottom plate, okay? 37, yeah. All right, so here's the deal. I went out and I had Matt pick up a toilet this morning so we can show you the problem. Here's the problem. This is where the door is when it opens up. And it clears the toilet. That's not a problem, okay? But then when I get in this room, I have to stand here like a ballerina in order to close that door. All right? This is my forever home, which means I got to consider my forever belly. 10 years, 15 years from now, I might not be this trim, sexy machine that I am right now, right? So I've got to consider, you know, I've got a wall back here, right? Like, here's my finished wall. Here's my toilet. Like, this is tight. So we have to figure out how can we move this door back a little bit, right? We want to keep it the 28, but I don't want to have my forever going to the bathroom experience one that's really awkward and uncomfortable. So we thought, okay, well, hey, we were troubleshooting this morning. We're like, well, we could make this a pocket door, and that would work. Except, let's go back over to the specs. Right over here, guys. This wall here, these little dollar sign looking things, okay? That means light switch. Light switch, light switch. Light switches have boxes. Boxes are deep. Pocket doors don't work with electrical components, okay? And on the other side, I got a GFCI, which is an extra deep box. So I can't make a pocket door. All right. Well, if I want to have these gorgeous lines and keep a 6-foot vanity, I can make my bedroom smaller. But then I'm walking into a wall and I don't have that great line coming into my bedroom from the hallway closet, from the hallway door. And the designer's not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy. My room will be unsymmetrical. It just, everything causes problems. So I got to figure out how to make this work. So I'm looking at this toilet and I like a nice elongated toilet. I could go with a round toilet. It's not as long, right? That's an option. Because right down here, I'm measuring 12 and a half inches to that bolt. And if you know anything about toilets, the bolt flange is in the center line. So when we're roughing this in, we're like, okay, we got to go 12 and a half inches to that bolt. And in this particular toilet, even with the drywall, I got pretty much backed up against the wall. Now, my options are really difficult here because this makes it cramped, okay? Hey, Matt, let's haul this out of here, and we can show them what's going on underneath. We'll take the tank on the bowl, but one at a time. They're not connected. We just set it there for a visual aid, right? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get my marker out, and I'm going to show you what's going on here on the floor. Thank you, buddy. Now, here's my nail holes, okay? That corresponds with my floor joist. All right, so my floor joist is basically here. Now, that floor joist goes from the new beam that we put in the basement, all right, all the way to the outside foundation wall. And it is 12 inches on center. So if I have to have plumbing right here, I have to cut the whole floor joist out. That's a major structural issue. So now I got to contact my engineer. I got to get to re-engineer, I need another floor joist over here somewhere, because don't forget the foundation wall comes all the way out to here. So if I put the floor joist any closer, I don't have any ability to get in there and seal up my ridge beam for insulation. So I can't go this way with it. I could reframe and engineer this, but a cheaper solution is what if I laminated the existing beam and then just cut this section out and it would make room for the pipe to pass up, okay? I don't need to engineer that. I can just put in a brand new floor joist, beam to outside wall. I could do that. Or I could build a box back to my rim joist, okay? Double that up, joist hangers, both sides, blah, 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 and then I can put my pipe anywhere I want here. But then it has to go downstairs, underneath all the floor joists, and I got a huge box across the wall to cover my pipe. Not desirable. The other option is this. They do sell 10-inch on-center toilets. All right? So American Standard Cadet 3 is a 10-inch on-center toilet. That moves my line way back here. And when you open up the specs, you can go to the details when you're shopping online from Home Depot. It actually shows me that I have a 2-inch gap from the back of the toilet to the wall, okay? And that gives me an extra room to cheat. So I can actually go 9-inch on center. And that's enough room to put in a flange right up against the existing joist.
People ask, why not just put an out-swinging door?
Okay, there's a good question. All right, that was another solution. So I have a his and her vanity here. All right, so in my forever home, every time my wife goes to use the bathroom, if I'm in here, she's going to hit me in the butt with a door. Or she's got to knock and get permission to come out of the toilet. We're not going to go through this massive renovation just to be inconvenienced for the next 20 to 30 years. 40 years, God willing. So we're going to stick with the original plan, and we're going to go with that 10-inch offset toilet, because here's what. It also only comes out to 26.5 inches to here, all right? And if I cheat and I use that space there, I only come out 25.5 inches. Now, I've got all this space. I can stay in here real comfortable. Now I can walk in, I can just go like this, boom, close the door. There's enough space to get that done. So there's the solution. The only other solution I have is I could go with a wall-hung toilet, because I got room to bring a pipe up here. I'd have to reframe a space here because I got to keep my thermal barrier. It makes the room smaller, but with a wall-hung toilet, even with the 2x6 wall, it's just a toilet seat. And that actually gets me about the same dimension as this American Standard Cadet 3. That's a lot to say about nothing, but at least we know the problem solution is going to be in our fixtures. It's not going to be in how we frame. So we just get to go ahead, follow our plan, and have a fixture solution instead of a framing solution. Thank God, because today's about framing, right? We have one other issue that we got to address, and that is over here. All right. This area right here. Okay. Joe, if we can take a look at the floor here, I'll show the folks the problem. This plywood is not supported. Underneath the stairs here, there's only one piece of 2x3 here, and there's a 2x10 way over here. I want to put in a bathroom here, okay? And I like to have my bathrooms with tile, preferably. So what I'm going to do here is I got to frame this wall a little bit different. I'm going to have a wall here. I'm going to have a wall coming out over here. So I'm going to build these walls first, and then I'm going to build this wall to sit on top of them, kind of like a Tetris piece, with like a header built in, okay? It's going to be very unique. But this way, I get to redistribute the load of this entire wall, which is going to go all the way up to the top of the vaulted ceiling and pass that load onto the other two studs that are transferring load back to the original floor joist. It's a lot, I know, but we're going to build it today and show you how to get it done. To every problem, there's a solution. And I think we have all of ours. So without wasting any more time, Maddie, let's start with cutting some plates out, okay? We're just gonna like lay this out together. We'll cut all the tops and bottom plates, stack them, pull out the lasers, drop our lines, all right? So I need a top for both of those. I needed 2 37 inches.
Okay, 2 at 37?
Yeah, the dimensions that they gave us for that 36, it was an interior finish dimension. Remember, this is a designer drawing, and so that's a finished wall, and that's a finished wall.
Right.
So we got to do the math backwards. Okay. So I need a 37-inch plate to put here to get the right dimension.
Okay, so 37-inch top plate, and you want me to measure out these guys here?
Make 2 more of those, yeah.
2 more of these two?
You got it. All right. Okay, so before we go any further, I'm going to jump into the comments here, guys. Let's go answer some questions about any of these that you have. If you have recommendations, if you're watching this after the fact, jump in the comment section and say, hey, here's a solution, or I know this fixture, or here's what we did at our project. I'd love to get some feedback there. Helping everybody out by offering up other options and solutions in this video. It's going to be a great tool to help our DIY community. Cheers. All right, let me just jump right into the old booth here. All again. All right, welcome back. This is number 6 of our live show series, where we're renovating live right in front of your face and having a little fun doing it. All right. make a larger closet. Yeah, you know, I get the idea, but one thing you got to know about designers, if you want to work with them, then you have to follow the design. And then every time you run into a problem, you've got to call them up and you've got to make changes, and you become that client, right? It's easier if I can come up with solutions on my end than always trying to hunt down the designer whose head is already in the space of another project. Like once she's done, she's done. She doesn't want to have to revisit this over and over and over again. Anyway, can I fit a wash basin in there? Don't need one, because on the other side of the door, there is actually going to be a his and her sink. And the secret here is, remember, I usually just like to put like a latch door, not a knob. So you can use an elbow or whatever to open up the door, or you can have a, what I do is I do my business with my right hand. I use my left hand for the doorknob. Have a system, right? That'll work. The pocket door won't work because of the electrical problems that we can run into. Plus the designer has 84-inch tall doors through the rest of the main floor, okay? And so we want to continue that flow and that design theme in the bathroom. And as soon as I go pocket door, then I got to custom make a pocket door. And then where am I going to put the light switch? And then my vanity electrical is on that wall, and blah, 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 blah. So it's just easier to follow the design and fixture the solution. And we got a member in the chat, the Sandman. Jeff wanted to thank you for this stream. This is an incredible experience for DIYers to see your process in real time. Hey, you're welcome. You know, and like, listen, guys, when you have a plan, think the whole thing through and from the beginning. It'll save you tens of thousands of dollars. Not knowing the solution to these problems, okay? If I just cheat and build a wall where that bathroom is, where the floor is moving, I'm going to have drywall cracking forever, right? I'm going to have no ability to put tile in there because it would just crack forever. Not knowing the solution for that bathroom, what do? Do I just frame it and say, well, we'll figure it out later? No. Who's figuring it out? Figure it out first, right? Know where you're going. Because what if there was no solution that was acceptable? Then I'd be calling the designer saying, hey, let's come up with a different option here, all right? Maybe we just don't make it a water closet. Maybe we leave it an open bathroom. Maybe we don't put a door on it. I mean, there's majority of bathrooms have a toilet in the bathroom without a wall and a door. So it's an option. We could have gone there. For now, though, we're going to just frame it in, expecting a fixture option as a solution, and we're good. How long can framing be exposed to weather before sheathing? Weather protection must go on. That answer depends on your climate. All right. At the end of the day, if your wood gets wet, it's not the end of the world, but you can't have it staying soaking wet, right? It all depends on your climate, your rain, your rainfall amounts, the time of year, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, if your water gets more than 60% moisture, you're running into trouble, and you're going to start promoting mold growth. So if it gets wet and it dries, you're fine. That's why stick framing, it doesn't matter. It gets soaking wet in a rainstorm and it's sunny the next day. Who cares? It'll dry out. Now, it'll probably go a little warped. But yeah, the rule of thumb, when you're renovating, keep it dry all the time. Like, grab some Tyvek, all right? Pull it around the house. Put a plastic sheet over your roof if you have to. Do something to keep the weather out, because the drier you keep your building, the more consistent it stays, and it's not going to end up warping and twisting and causing you all kinds of issues. Anyway, random razor. Jeff, you got a 100-year-old home. There's lath and plaster wall, corner cracks top to bottom, keeps re-cracking. No matter how many times I mud, repair it, what should I do? Great question. Where do you live? There's the answer to your question. Where do you live? I'm guessing if it's a 100-year-old home, you're probably on the East Coast. You're probably in a 4-season climate, give or take, and your home isn't built for expansion and contraction, and you probably have maybe even a stone wall and not a concrete wall. Ontario, well, there you go. So you're in a 4-season climate. Your house is expanding and contracting, and your lath and plaster will continue to crack. So the only solution for you is to not be too concerned about the crack. You bought it. It's 100 years old, and you got what you paid for. You got a house that's going to continue to crack. If you don't want the cracks showing up, the only thing you can do is take off the lath and plaster. Take a look at the framing. Find out what's going on. What's the movement? A lot of times, you'll have 2 pieces of wood nailed together in 2 places, all right? And they'll be moving like this or moving like this, depending on what's going on with your frost freeze cycle. And yeah, if you don't get screws in there and keep the wood from moving around, everything cracks over and over and over again, okay? Nowadays, in our construction, we have screws. We can tighten those corners up so they don't expand and move around. It avoids the cracking. So that is the answer. Lots and lots of work. Existential Paints in the house again. Great to see you, my friend. All right, we're ready to go here. Let's get some work done. All right, Matt? I think I'm going to have to stop playing with this marker, too. What the heck? That's like a habit thing.
Like a fidget spinner.
Yes.
So we got two 37s?
Yeah, well, we had one there before.
It was a 36, though.
It was a 36.
Yeah, that's we had. Remember, I cut it based on that drawing, but that's a finished interior width, which is really freaking me out. So then, let's do this. We're going to. I think I'd like to start with this main wall where we have the stairs. Okay, and then we'll get that established, and then we'll be able to drop a laser line. Okay. All right, guys, we're just gonna get this moved out of the way. We've got lights and cameras and action going on. My goodness, that would probably be a good shot right there. All right, Matt, I'm going to grab my drill, disconnect the railing. Before I get too far into that, though, can you take the Sawzall? I want to cut this out of the way. All right, let's talk to the folks at home. We don't need this piece of lumber. Originally, it was here. They had a 2x4 wedged in between it, and they used that as a nailing surface to attach their wall. We're going to be going with a spray foam solution for this house. And if I put a wall here right now, I can't get insulation in there. And I don't own spray foam tools. And I'm not going to spray foam it and then put my wall there. So we're just going to cut this one, peel it out of the way. We don't need it. That way, my new wall is going to be attached to this stud because I'm putting a 2x6 instead of a 2x4. And there's reasons for that we'll get into in a minute with our structure. But this is in our way, so we'll cut this and get that out of here. Just remember, I'm going to not have a railing. I'm going to take it away. Okay, so you can just go ahead and cut through that right now, and then we're going to be good. This design is a little unique. I have a truss here that stays, and the rest of them are all going. So we're going to be putting in a huge 25.5-foot beam, and it's going to be a big project. But we also have, if you can see downstairs, I got all those 2x4s there. That's going to be a point load right here, going up into the space, okay? And I'm going to have a beam going across to another point load in the other part of the hallway that will then have a post going up to carry the main bridge beam. It's a lot going on. But I've already thought through, I mapped it out. I know my measurements. If I build a 2x6 wall and I just laminate a 2x4 in this truss that stays here, I've got a nailing surface for this wall when it goes up. Go ahead and cut it, bud. Yeah. Oh, sweet. I'll keep these screws for later. All right. Yes, sir. Just cut it kind of in the middle. Then it's easier to pry it all off. Try not to go through too much through the wall.
We'll have to do your peeling technique.
Yeah,
here.
you're just gonna throw a couple in there and get this. And there's one more, I think. Yeah, being really safe, man. There we go. Thanks, sir. I'm gonna leave the toe kick in for a minute, okay? Just as a gentle reminder not to step over that. All right. All right. How's that coming?
You gotta be gentle with this one, right?
Well, let me take a peek. Nah, it's brick. You can be a little more aggressive if you want. Did they nail into that board? Oh, they nailed into that one instead of the 16 on center. Brilliant. Okay. Well, not a big surprise. Wow. I totally suck upside down backwards. Here, let me get this out of here. Okay, that's going to be a problem. That's one way to deal with this messed up screw, eh? Yeah, just sheathing nails, no brick ties. Oh, we got lucky there. Better lucky than good, eh? All right. And I don't know what that cable's for, but it's definitely in my way. Okay. All right, so let's do this, Matt. We're gonna make a 2x6 wall. It's designed to be just for here. I'm gonna walk through this with you guys at home, okay? This is my wall. I'm gonna build it right on top of the edge of this plywood, okay? So it's gonna come 3.5 inches in, right to here, right? So that's my measurement. All the way from that wall to this black line with a 2x6. We're gonna go 95 1/8. Okay? Top and bottom, same number. Beautiful. Okay, so there we go. So while Matt's cutting those, I'll get the rest of this railing out of here. Oh, I can actually leave that in for a little bit. Very nice. I will do that then. If I can keep some safety going on here, I'm not going to run away from that idea. Also, I'm going to keep this brace here as well. Be a good idea. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. All right. So let's put this where we can actually build a wall. When you're doing your framing, oh, jeepers creepers. Why do we have a sledgehammer up here? When you're doing your framing, guys, do your big walls first, okay? Think about going from the back of the house to the front of the house. But always do your big walls first. There's always lots of space for framing a big wall. Now, Matthew, this is good. All right? We're going to just go with the full 8-foot otherwise. Yeah, we're not going to modify this end. Okay, so now we're going to... Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now, you got a couple of small pieces of 2x4, bring them over for visual aid. And everybody at home can understand what it is that we're dealing with here. I keep hitting a bloody screw on the ground. Let's keep that area clean. There we go. All right. Okay. So here's the wall represented here, right on that edge. Okay. And then a wall representing what's going to be the shower extension over here. This is how I'm building this. Okay. So this is the bottom plate. This wall is going to be like that. Plus, I'm going to build a header, 2x4, 1/2-inch plywood, 2x4, that sits right there. Okay, so because that's the solution to my problem, I don't need wood here. That's inside the bathroom wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark where that wall is going to go. Okay. Boom. I'm going to roll this over. And before I figure out where anything else is going to go, I'm going to mark the X where that stud goes. That's the last stud on this piece. Okay? Now, can you go to the drawings and tell me, is there any plumbing or electrical in this wall we need to be considerate with?
Yep.
Okay.
We got a triple electrical box.
It's
that's the wall.
That's the wall there, yeah, right above the stairs.
Right.
So that's part of the shower. So we don't have any consideration at all. Is
We
that
got these two.
you got switch? It's a switch wall.
Yep.
Okay, but that'll be in the wall beneath it. So I don't even care. We don't have any consideration then.
Sweet.
That switch wall is when you come into the room. It's usually around your hip bone. And the landing down there, it'll be underneath this header. Okay, good. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 16 on centers, the top and bottom, which in this particular case is all of the red squares on my tape. So we'll start with one on that end. 16, 32, 4 feet, 64, 80 inches. That's it. Everything will go to the right. Can you grab me a small square from the table while I'm down here on my knees? Boom, boom, boom. So what we're doing is we're laying out the top and bottom plate where everything gets nailed, okay? There we go. And I'm using a black marker. It's not as exact as a sharp pencil, but it's easier for all of you guys to see. Okay, and then one mark there. Okay, now we're going to pull these out into open space. Top plate, bottom plate, and then put a bunch of 8-footers in between. Now, for today's exercise, oh yeah, we talked about this earlier. We're going to be making our walls in this direction because we have our whole team back here. And if one of our nails from the nail gun happens to miss or misfire or break through the wood from a splinter, it'll fire right across the room. Yeah, if you don't believe me, come check this out. I missed the stud when I was building the outside wall. Went right into the window there. You got that shot? Yeah? Well, you can go walk right up in there nice and tight there, Joe. Get that shot. I got to replace the whole 8-foot window over one missed nail. You know, that's a relatively new window, but it's garbage now. Well, it must be around. It must be. Is it downstairs?
It might be.
Okay, I'll just go grab the gun. You got nails in your pouch, eh? All right. We got a great tool. I picked it up from Matt for this project, actually. It's we got him the new Milwaukee M18 30-degree framing nailer. Thing is brilliant. It's nice and quiet, too. So every time you take a shot, it shuts up. I've had nailing guns on this show before. Newer technology. Makes a hell of a noise, right? Can't do a live show with that. Here you go. Oh, you got some already?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Brilliant. I'll just throw that back here. All right. Might as well start in that corner, right? Now, there's all kinds of ways to frame the interior of your house, all right? We're using nails because it's 2x6. The rule is really simple. 1 nail for every 2 inches of lumber, so 3 nails. I know it's actually only 5.5 inches, but it's every 2 inches or part thereof is actually how the code reads, right? So there we go. Matt's going to start framing all that up.
Are we going 3 nails per stud or just 2?
No, we're going 3, buddy. That's a 2x6. All right. So if you get a chance, you can follow the links in the video. Probably not going to be there until after it gets posted later on tonight or maybe by tomorrow. But you can grab this gun. It's brilliant. Also, laser levels. Okay, that's what we're working with today. I do have a manual boom level, but we're going to be using a red and a green today so that we can get all of our lines just perfect. All right. If you're not sure, we'll put the link in there for this as well. There we go. Red and green. All right. Okay. I hate standing around. You know what? There's just not much I can do here, Matt. This feels very weird. You know what I'm going to do, Matt? I'm going to go over to the drawings, and I'm just going to write down the actual sizes of all of our plates on there. So then we can have all that math done, all right? How does that sound to you?
Boss.
All right. We're going to go from here to here. 36. Okay. 36. Here's my actual. So we're going to go with 36. And then that one's 37. 37. 3'3". 3'9". 36. 37. That's 37. That's 37. We're just going to do that. 37s. All right. 37. 40. Two of those. 37s. Beautiful. 10. And a half. 1.5 inches. 4 foot. 8.5. Okay, there we go. That'll help move things a lot faster. Go ahead, bud. You know what? Maybe while Matt is nailing things together, are you done? Holy cow, okay. We'll see you in a minute. I'll go and talk some more to you guys in a second. Let's get this wall up first. All right, so you got it. You're gonna just walk it over? Whoa, there we go. Oh, yeah, we gotta kind of go the other way. Let's lift that into the top. It'll be exactly the same because this is taller than ours.
Ask me to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to the other side and we'll just flip it. If you want to just stand in the end there. Yep. Right up into that location. Let's just be slow and easy here. We don't have any safety ladder anymore. Okay. Okay. Yeah, roughly there.
You good?
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I want you to take the box beam on this. Throw that level on that side. We got to make sure we're flush here. Oh yeah, that's sweet. Okay. And then tell me exactly when it's perfect.
Right about here.
Okay, so that's not 1.5 inches like original estimated. Again?
Right there.
I can't see anything there, man. Let me get up. I'm gonna have to get up nice and tight. Ah! Okay. Because I want to get a filler strip for this, so we get this perfect. All right, call it
Right there.
1/2 inch.
Okay.
Okay. Can we do the same thing at the other end?
Yep.
Just get on your hands and knees and reach over the edge to make sure that's flush first. Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty good there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not very exciting for me. All right, so here's what's going on. I'm tight at that end.
Okay.
I'm 1 inch off, 3/4 or 1/2 inch off over here. So the truss is not perfectly perpendicular. Or the hole cut for the stairs isn't perpendicular. I'm thinking the truss is right and the hole to the downstairs is wrong.
Okay.
That means that we're going to be installing this one with shims and nailing in that there as well. Okay, so grab your nailer. Let's just throw a couple on that end and get this anchored. I'll grab some shims and we can screw the rest of this together. Do I even have my knife on me? That's maddening, huh? All right, go ahead, top left corner. Right through the bottom of that truss, that stays forever. You need some more height?
No. Right to the bottom of the truss?
Yeah,
Into the thing?
sure. Got it. All right, let's get that level over here one more time, and I'll set this up with 1/2 inch. When you're working with your shims, there's a fat and a skinny end. Alternate them, okay? That way, as you're pulling them apart, the middle gets skinny, but it stays square. Okay, so what we're doing is we're actually lining this up. And then I can make this as skinny or as fat as I need to by pushing them together and making sure that I maintain that thickness. All right, Matt. I think we said like 1/2 inch, right?
Yep, 1/2 inch.
Okay, I'm a little bit big here, so I'm just going to pull these apart a little bit. Okay, let's try that.
So you want to know if it's level right now?
Yeah, I want you to tell me where it's level, and then I'm going to adjust this.
Okay, go your way. A little bit more. A little bit more. There you go.
So it is right there. Okay, nail gun, please. Okay, like this. I'm going to get this up in here. Thank you. Oh, dude. Why do you need 3 hands to do this? Here, I got a better plan. Hold this for a second. Come on, honey. The grab on these screws, eh? All right. Put the level on there again. I hate those screws.
All right.
Not quite there.
Yeah, your way a bit.
Why is that not working? How's that?
There you go. Your way more.
Towards me.
Yep. That's good right there.
Really? No kidding. All right. Well, there we go. We'll just use the screw. Now, as soon as I put in a second screw, you happy or you want it out?
Well, it's subjected to the movement of the truss, right?
Well, that's why we're not going to try to force it.
Push
Where's
it to my right a little bit, then we get level. Yeah. Let's try this.
where the vibration?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is just stick another one over here. There we go. Now it's anchored. Okay. No, we're not going anywhere. Now the truss is a little sloppy-doppy here, but that's fine. Once we get the bathroom wall in, we'll be able to get that all squared away. When you're building, every time you have an anchor point, especially as a DIYer, use screws. You can make adjustments to this as you go later on. If you start nailing everything together, you're going to run into a whole world of hurt. All right, let's get you back on the saw. I got to build the outside of this bathroom wall, okay, which I believe my drawing calls for 40 and a half. Thanks, buddy. 40 and a half.
40 and a half.
Yep.
2x4.
Yep. 2x4, top and bottom. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, these are just temporary. We'll get rid of that. 3'9" is 36 is 45. 1 second, Matt. Let me do this again. 36, 37, plus 7. No, I'm making a world of hurt for myself. These are all parallel. If that's 37 interior, and then I've got 7 inches for 2 walls, 37 and 7 is 44. Forget what I did here. Let's go 44.
44?
Yeah. I'm making my life difficult for no reason. All right. Oh, part of it is I'm wearing this hat. It is hot. All right. Let's go answer a couple of questions here. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Yeah. You're going to use a screw and then tighten it to the shims? You can. But like I said, this is kind of temporary right now because this truss is moving around so much. Instead of trying to make it perfect, we're going to wait until we get our other walls in. When you build things that are square and then you put the corners together, it almost always ends up being exactly level because you're building with the same height material. So if it's out of level, something shorter and something taller. Oof. As soon as you get to tight, you're good. Why didn't you put the ceiling nailer on top of that wall section before you installed it? Oh yeah, okay. So we're talking about our second plate. Yeah, no worries. This isn't tying into the outside wall. Okay, we didn't build this wall with the consideration that we're tying into the outside wall plate. I don't care. Eventually, once we pull all the trusses out, we're going to build another wall on top of that goes right up to the ceiling. So that's framing that's going to happen at a later date. All right. You know, a little dark there, are we?
A little bit.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway, there's a method to my madness here, oddly enough. You're going to see the rest of the walls are designed that the top plate comes just underneath all the trusses. Okay. And that'll be a double top plate that does that so that we can overlap in areas and have more rigidity. But you'll find that when you're building a wall, putting a top plate on, that's all well and good, but you have access. Where when you renovate, you have to reverse engineer everything. You have to do everything backwards. I can't make my walls with double top plates under a truss without walking around and hammering them all in place. It'll just drive you nuts. What's the benefit? If you screw all your corners together, it's just as strong as doing a double top plate. Besides, I'm not using these walls to hold the building together, okay? We're just putting them in place and securing them in place so we can finish. Yeah, there we go. Elijah says, ask more than once, do I have a budget for the project? I have no idea. We're just going to go with it. We're going to be here for 2 years making videos and helping you guys out. And, you know, wherever it lands is wherever it lands. All I know is that whenever I'm renovating my own house, I'm making the contractor's money plus all the employees' money. And so if I have to spend a little more on building materials, I don't really care. It's not an issue. I'm profitable regardless of how I approach this situation. Greetings from Ottawa. Looking to build a wood shop shed in the backyard. Heavy tools, 12 by 12, no permit required, correct? I watched all your shed vids, but I'm not sure which foundation to use. If you're in Ottawa and you want a great foundation, and you're going to use heavy tools, just go on concrete. Pour slab, piece of cake, right? Bring the concrete truck over and just pour a slab. They can bring it right to the backyard. They can even pump jack it over for you. They can pump it right into your shed location from a crane if you have to. It's not a big deal. I would go concrete. I would even mix it myself and pour it in, and who cares, right? Like, yeah, just go for it. Anyway, would you recommend concrete, Pilex, tough block? No. If you're going to be putting heavy tools in there, you don't want anything floating because you want everything level. So put it on a slab and even insulate your slab, right? Consider that. Like put down a piece of 1.5 inch rigid foam and then pour your slab on top of it. That's what I would do if I was going to be doing a workshop. Scotland, I'm building a DIY greenhouse with old double glazed windows. Wow. What size treated wood would you recommend, and would you separate the window glazing? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Listen, your windows aren't going to be pressure treated. So, right? If you're using old windows, that wood is not pressure treated. So if you're going to have high humidity in there, reusing old windows means you're introducing wood that isn't treated into a hot, damp environment. You're guaranteed to go to mold. Sounds like a good idea out of the gate, but it's going to cost you a fortune. I would recommend you build your own windows. Go to the glass place and order up glass, and then just frame, quarter round, and then, you know, put on an acoustic seal and put the next piece in, and then quarter round again. That's all you need. You can build all that out of pressure treated lumber, and then you won't have a problem down the road. All right. And then just to finish off the outside to keep it waterproof, you can use a polyurethane sealant, just a quick cock and gun trick, and you can build your own windows. It's a lot cheaper. You'd be surprised. The cost of glass is ridiculously cheap, but as soon as it's assembled, then it costs money. So assemble it yourself and use the right materials so you'll never go to mold. Cheers. All right, Matt, ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. I need a drink. What do we got going on here, guys? Oh, I'll take a Montelier. Yeah, whatever that is. The soda water of one flavor. Montelier. All right, here we go. All right, so, oh, you threw that at me, didn't you? Yeah.
All right, next up.
You give me the 40s or whatever?
Yep.
Top and bottom?
Yep.
Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to like lay it out. So just put the two 40s back here on this wall. Let's go in here. Okay? Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's going to be going here, right there. Boom. Okay? Give or take. Now, to really get this right, we've got to actually square it. So if we grab the big DeWalt black triangle over there, I'll throw that on the ground. This is really in the way. I'm just going to. Oh. All right, and you can just put it right over the edge of that plywood. Don't use the railing. Use the plywood itself. That'll actually be straight. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's my wall. Coming up off the stairs. Perfect, okay. Now, I have to build this wall section here. It's gonna be a little tricky and weird, all right? But we need to also build this whole wall and that wall. So, because this one's in place, let's build this one next. I got a measurement here, 56.5 inches. Minus that, because I made that wall thicker. Minus 2. Yeah, no, I already did the math. 56.5. Yeah, 2 of those. And that'll bring it out to here. I just want to make sure I got my math right on this. Okay. And then we got that big door area. 3'9". 3'9". 45. 3'9". That's finished. Takes me to here. $64. Is that what we got? Nope. Somewhere. 3'9". I'm out 1.5 inches.
Okay, which wall are we building now?
Okay, hang on 1 second. I just did my whole math across here,
Okay.
and there's an issue with the math. 3'9" is finished space. That's drywall and drywall. So I actually have to go shorter than that. So 2 inches off for that, and I got to take a 1/2 inch off of this. I need to take a 1/2 inch off of that, and a 1/2 inch off of that. Yeah. I'm going to map this out. I'm going to mark this across. Okay.
Okay, you want me to call out the numbers to you, or?
Well, let's do this one here. Because I wish I had the full. Okay, so from there, 2 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot, 8.5. Finish to finish, plus 9. 4 foot 8 plus 9. That's weird. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 65.5. All right. So that's what we got here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, Matt, is I'm going to just kind of, this is why we're laying this out first, because we're working off a designer drawing. And sometimes it can be a little tricky because we're working with, their specs are for finished spaces. Okay, that's going around there. And then she's got a space there for the hole in the wall, right?
Yeah, that's 2'4".
No. The actual hallway between the bathroom and the bathroom.
3'9".
3'9". But that's a finished space, right?
Is there finished space numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because her drawing is all based on drywall on the framing.
Gotcha.
So 3'9" actually means 3'10" for framing. Okay, and that's here. And then the left side of that, where the shower wall is, what was that one say?
Left side of that is 4 foot, and then you're marking 8.5.
4 foot 8.5. I'm 4 foot 6.5 to here. So I'm missing 2 inches.
Would it make sense that it's because we put the 2x6 wall in?
Yeah, I already adjusted that on that drawing was 4 foot 10.5. I drew it down to 4 foot.
Okay.
So I'm still missing 2 inches of the math here somehow. So one of two things has happened. One, our measurement to the stairs, to the inside of this wall is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
2, Do I go narrower than, because this is just a space and I custom order a door. It's easier to steal the space there.
Right.
Than to steal the space. I got to have this a certain depth. This has to be a certain depth. I got to keep this one. So we're going to keep that no matter what. We can't make the bathroom any shorter because of the way the door works. If we have any problem here at all, it has to be the custom door that we buy. Okay. And I think she made it 3'9" because she's trying to make it the length of this finished wall, which she has here at 3'9". But if this is 36 finished interior, it's 37 frame, plus 7 is 44, 37, 36, 37, and 7 is 44.
Yeah.
But finished is 45. Wow. What is 3'9"? Is that 45? Make sure all this makes sense.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 45.
Okay. So at least these numbers all make sense. And I told you to cut this one at what? Did we make those at 45?
So these two right here.
Yeah. Wow. You can really run in circles, eh? I'm doing 44 here. I've got to make those 45. Okay. This is the challenge. We're working with the designer drawings, so all the measurements are finished.
Right.
Some of them are inside and some of them are outside the room.
Wow.
So it needs to be interpreted.
Okay.
It's like going to a foreign country and you got to use Google to talk to somebody. All right. That's okay. We'll make those for something later. Make me 245s. Let's get this straight. Dear Lord. Okay. 45s. And then that makes that 237s. Yes. Wow. That's burning the brain. All right. I'm just going to write that down while I'm here. 37s. That's going to be over here somewhere. 37s.
Hold on. I got 2 of these cut at 50 something for you. Right?
Yeah. Which is 4 foot 8.5. Right?
So we got 56 and a half, and where are these going?
Those are 4 foot 8.5. So that's the shower door.
That's the shower
Shower wall, sorry.
All right.
So let me just start laying this out. And then when we're all done, we'll reconvene and see if if we can make our floor look like our picture. Wow. Okay. Let me just double check here what we got. 36, 37s. Good. All right. That's going to be that. Here's the bathroom wall. Here's inside here. All right. Worst case scenario, we got to cut something an inch longer or an inch shorter or something, right? That's our worst case. Here's my bathroom. That is what?
45.
Because we're changing this one, right? Because that was an inch short. Can you just confirm the length on those two? Yeah.
These 2 are 44.
Okay. Just write that on and stack them against a wall somewhere so we have a reference. Actually, you can cut those down to 37s. That'll work perfect. We'll put that one in. We have a plan. All right. Okay. Now I have the total width of my wall going to here. And leave a little bit of room for my drywall. Outside corner. Okay. Going to be going from here. Wow. This is creative. We'll get there. 101.5. But I want the outside measurement. Thank God. Okay. 98. Of course it's 98. Bloody.
37.
Okay. So here's my issue. This wall is more than 8 feet. I think it's like 99 inches. Yeah, it's 98 inches. It's 8'2". Okay.
That's different than our drawn up here.
Well, no, because there is no number on this. It's just square.
I see.
So after we're done adding this up and this dimension here, it gave us the full. So now I'm translating that over here. So here we go. Since we don't have 8'2" lumber to make a top and bottom plate, we're going to make this wall 3.5 inches longer. So we make a wall that fits in between and then one that comes on the other side. All right. So this is a great idea, but now it's too short. So what's that one, 37? Okay, make me 40.5. There we go. Oh my goodness.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I wish I had some 10-foot lumber laying around, but when I first looked at that drawing, I was like, there's no way that's 8 feet long. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it's 8 feet long. All right. No biggie. 40.5. That's a 16-inch cabinet, finished. 15.5 frame. Okay. 15.5 frame. So it's a 16-inch deep finished cabinet. Makes it 15.5 frame from there. 40.5 to 15.5. All right. Here we go. Beautiful. Is that 1 of 2 or 2 of 2? That one there? Okay. That is 2 of those at 15.5. All right. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, ooh, that moved. Okay, 82.5. Here we go. Ah! Here we go. When you take a measurement, write it down before you do anything else. Thank you.
Here, these go.
Your next 2 are there. 2 at 82.5. Okay, there we are. Boom. Should somewhat line up. That somewhat lines up. Going over there. That'll be for these 2. Now, this is where this gets interesting. And then 3, 6, 39. 36 and a 39. That's what I got. There we go, Matt. Those 2 there are different measurements, but 136, 139. Beautiful. All right. There we go. Whoa. What did I do wrong there? I measured to the outside of this. Boy, oh boy. This is abnormal behavior. 70. What did I say? Measure once and cut twice, right? Yep. Yeah, baby. Here, I need these both at 79s. All right. All right. And then that should do it after that. That'll give us all this half. And then once we get all of this laid out, we will then be able to come up with our framing strategy. That's the 39, right? Okay, so that one's going to be vertical on a plate sitting there. Let's see if I get another 39 here somewhere. There we go. Give me another 39. Did I get that 36? Wait a minute. You already gave me a 39, right? Oh, God, you're quick. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
We're good.
Yeah, you're cutting faster than my brain's thinking. All right, no worries. Here we go. There we are. All right. That goes in here. Okay, now, all we got to do now is throw a couple laser lines, okay?
Yeah.
And then make sure that we're square to the outside wall.
Sweet.
We're working kind of off this piece of plywood in the stairs, which isn't the most intelligent idea, but for the purpose of rough framing, this outside line and this line here are completely in line. That's my designer for you. So pick a color. Let's start over here. All right.
What am I doing with this? Where do I go?
Just put it on the top of your plate. You'll see that there's a line offset of the right. And you can put your laser line right on that line. And what you're going to try to do is pick up the front edge of that board there. Working down there. Okay, so you see where that is?
So now that we have our boards all marked up and cut up, should we put them in a corner somewhere and then mark our laser lines without having the wood there?
Well, what I'm thinking of doing is I've got a plywood right here that I can work off, right? I mean, that's about as square to the building as you're going to get.
Yep.
They started with a full sheet right here off this corner. Yeah. This is about as square a line as I can operate from. Right. That's the plywood that I'm dealing with, okay? Comes right to here. There's my joint. Like I really can't screw this up if I try, right? So 39, that's the same dimension here, same dimension here, same dimension there. I think we're safe to just build it all and then put this one on this plywood line. Otherwise, we'd have to chalk it. But because I already have a chalk line to work from, being my joint and my plywood, I mean, I couldn't have done a better job of framing this out if I tried because it's idiot-proof. Right. Now, what you can do, you can take a measurement off your, okay? And you can measure 3, 4, and then 5 to the points. And that creates a perfectly square mark. And then you can extend that with your laser line and then drop a chalk line, but we don't have to do that. We get to save a step, which is good because now we're back on schedule because we wasted all that time cutting everything twice.
Welcome to the reality of a renovation.
Right? So let's go over here now. Let's turn the lasers up before I go blind. And we'll just keep them handy for when we're building. But let's go. Remember we talked about we have this problem over here? So here's my plan. And Matt, this will make some sense for you. Okay? Come check this out. Get this out of here. Here's my wall. Let's say we build the walls. Okay? Boom. Now, this, I'm going to turn this into like a header that sits on here with a piece of 1/2-inch plywood in between. Okay? Make sense? All right. And now my load is transferred, everything above it, with this little header, but we'll call it a footer. All right? Onto this 2x4, which is just a few inches from the first nailing piece. And onto this 2x6. So that all the weight is then transferred to those 2 points. Over here, it's on structure. Over here, it's close to structure. So I'm not relying on what's underneath this. So I don't need to build out the bottom of the stairs and be banging our heads. It's my forever home. We can't have your brother over and go downstairs without him going down sideways, right? If I make that strong. So since I can't make underneath here strong, we're going to carry the weight up here. So what I need is a piece of plywood that's, let's go 3 inches. Okay, by like 36.
By 36?
Yeah. All right, and then we'll make that sandwich, and then we'll build a wall on top of this wall. Okay, that's, yeah, to fit this hole for now, until we can get these trusses out of here. All right? All right, now, while he's doing that, I also have to think, how do I frame this wall? So I want to be able to have wood on the outside. So I'm going to lay a 2x4 on the flat there, okay? And I'm going to have lumber there. Make sense? And then over here, we're just going to go with a single. So now I got to transfer this information. All right, there we go. Bam. And then on the flat. Now, when you're taking a look at your drawing, this is where the toilet goes. In a perfect world, I prefer to have my water supply in the wall and not coming through the floor, okay? So here's my center space, about 18, 20, and the toilet is about this wide over here. So if I put my 16, my studs, 16 inch on center, 32, that solves all my problems right there. That wall's ready. That wall is going to be interesting, to say the least. Yeah, this wall is interesting, to say the least. I'm going to need to put a 2x4 here as well. We'll nail that blind corner in. And then I'm going to need a nailing surface over here. That's where that goes. So if I put a 2x4 right there, I've got something to tie everything together. All right? I like that. Let's go center. Okay, that's interesting.
Wow.
Hey, Joe, can you pick this up, Joe, from there? Or maybe come on over and have a look. Very important when you're doing your layout for your studs. You got to consider your electrical, okay? Especially in a house like this, because there's lots of different electrical. Over here, I got a 4-gang box, 4-switch box. 1.5 inch wide. This is a 6-inch box. And over here by this door, I've got a 3. Now remember, on each side of the door, we want to have a king and a jack stud. So we've got to make sure that we frame in the right order here. This is really the issue. So over here, I need room for that 4 switch. Let's take a look at this. Because that's right here inside. When you first walk into the bathroom, here's all your controls. So I'm going to have a stud there, right? I got lots of room for 6 inches of electrical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a double here. That'll make this corner a lot stronger. And then there's lots of room for them to mount that. I'll put this one here because then when I bring this wall over, I've got a nailing surface for this wall into this stud. That'll work really nice. Boom, boom. And so then we'll just go 16s off that. Yeah. Okay, now here's my thing. Sheet goods. When I do my shower, I'm going to be going with curdy board.
Okay.
They come 4 foot wide.
Yep.
If I do the back wall first with my control room, my control wall, I'm going to need something here. Okay, so I want to put a stud right here as well. So I got a joint.
Okay.
All right. And if you want to wear, I can put on a 48 feet sheet of curdy here. Like finishes outside the shower, convert to drywall. And if my shower finishes here and my curdy board's out here, I simply put drywall tape on there and use drywall compound and resurface the whole orange strip. and it becomes part of the drywall finish. It works perfectly. The fleece holds drywall compound, no special priming. So that's part of my plan. So I'll take the 48 to here, put a frame in this wall on purpose.
So you're really thinking about like the next 5 steps of construction.
I'm thinking about everything I'm going to do before I'm finished,
Yeah.
so I don't have to do anything twice,
Yeah.
except the framing. This is not my strong point. My strong point is knowing how I'm finishing, where my backing is going to be, where's my towel bar, what am I going to finish on. Generally, when you're framing, you frame from the inside corner, 16 on center, so all your sheet goods line up, right?
Yeah.
But are you going to do the back wall first or the side wall?
Yeah.
If you do the side wall first, now I need this at 48 and a half.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying was,
right?
You know, back when I did like that little stint of framing, we never thought about the next 5 steps.
You don't have to, because there's framing, then there's back framing that for the drywallers after you pass your framing inspection, and then there's back framing for the plumber and the electrician. And the electrician will come in and he'll put in extra blocks to get the right distance from a corner, so that the drywallers aren't filling his boxes full of mud. So when I see this as my joint, now remember, I got 6 inches of electrical box going here. Where am I going now? No, I can't do that. So this won't work. Okay, so now what I'm looking at is, if I need a 6-inch box in this wall, I can't have a joint here.
Which affects your curdy board.
Which affects my curdy board placement. So then what I do with the curdy board is now I got to go horizontal.
Right.
So I will take the curdy board right to the corner and ignore this. So I don't need that joint.
Okay.
So I'll take curdy board to the corner, and then I'll put the drywall on the face, curdy board to the corner, 2 horizontal pieces, and then I'm done.
Sweet.
And that'll be the plan. So now I've thought it back through, and I'm like, okay, that would be great for curdy, but I need 6 inches of electrical box. So we're going to end up with a little extra board.
Stuff,
Somewhere we'll use this in the shower. It's really long. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be waste. But having the plan right to the very end is the key to being successful. Because now once I'm done framing, I never have to think twice. I can just move forward. Forward. Everything I order standard. It's all in play.
Sweet.
All right. So this one's marked out. This one's as simple as it's ever going to get.
You want me to start building the walls then while you're marking out the rest of your top and bottom, please?
Yeah, put together that footer first. Okay.
This one here?
No, the plywood with the 39s on it. All right. They're not exactly identical lengths, by the way. It doesn't matter.
So I'm just kind of laminating it on?
Yeah, it's just for depth perception. It's not really much of an issue. And I'm just going to mark out the rest of this. This one is inside. That goes there. That's for my drywall. Okay, now, in the bathroom, these are overhead lights, or are they sconces? Yeah, I don't think those are sconces. I think those are overheads. Good. Or maybe they are sconces. Oh, boy. Okay, we're just going to go with, going to have a vanity of some sort here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go with extra framing, 12 and 24. I want to keep the middle section open for plumbing. I want to be able to bring my drain and water supply up in the middle of this cavity. So I'm going to create a cavity just for the plumbing for the vanity. That'll work out fine there. This one, of course, is about as easy as it gets. 1, 2, double on the end. You're going to build that sandwich. Okay. And I've got a 8-foot 2x4. Let me get my back framing in play for this right now. All right, Matt, can you hit this for me? Yeah, let me just get this. Yeah, go ahead. Oof, I don't want to have my hand anywhere near that. Just give me a second. If you're working alone, here's a great trick. Grab one of these. Instead of screws, you can use nails.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you've got something like this there, you're free to nail. No problem, okay? Just hit that. Okay. One second. Okay, now you can nail the whole thing. hold on. You see that gap? Above and below it. I got the bench behind you if you need it. Oh. There you go. Pays to be tall, eh? All right. There we go. So now I've got a nailing surface for this other wall to tie in. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay. Here we go, sir. You could just throw the nails in that if you want. You don't have to screw it. Yeah. It's the nails are 3 1/4. When you turn on the side like that, just throw like 3 or 4 from each side. Actually, go 6 on each side. Then that way it'll transfer a little better. It's really overkill that I'm engineering there, but so the only thing really to think about now is A, how are we building this wall? And then B, where does everything on the door wall go? We've got to map that one out. Let's just tackle one little problem at a time here. I think what I want to do before I move any further is build this wall, get this one made so then we have the dimensions for what's going to happen here. This is very, very strange. All right, we're going to make a wall here. Okay. Let's get this all cleaned up. Now, we're going to start off with, we'll use our interior dimensions are fine. This is going to be our brand new interior dimension wall. Oh, there it is. I was looking for that for like a half hour. Oh, you got to love that. Okay, I'm going to go find my bottle. Daddy needs a drink. Oh, all right. Let's go see if we can answer some questions. Oh, yeah. I like that. Looking for flooring advice. You got a 52 ranch with a 900-foot square basement with 2 drains and a ceiling a little over 7 feet. Okay, the flooring has more than 1/8 change in 9-foot span. What flooring should I use? Well, here's the thing. When you're dealing with a 1952 ranch, what you have to answer is how humid is your basement, okay? Did you waterproof the exterior foundation? If not, you're very prone to humidity issues. Now, that's all relative to water table, soil conditions, geography, all that kind of jazz. So tape a paper bag to your floor. Let it sit for a couple of days. It's summertime. It's the perfect time to test. This is the dampest time of year, okay? For most regions, some places you get rain like crazy in the spring only, or just a fall only. So test of the rainiest part of the year. If it's dry, you got lots of options. But if you got humidity, then you've got to do moisture management, all right? If it's more than 60, you would probably be better served to have dehumidification going on in your basement. At 65, water condensates on like windows and other smooth surfaces, okay? And at 70, you're just gonna go to mold. So your issue is water management. We can manage water with subfloor systems. That's not really exciting for you because you only have a 7-foot ceiling. And when you start adding a subfloor, you're gonna lose 2 inches. You also have this bit of a dip going on with your floor. Humidity, you got a crawl space as well. All right, you can isolate the crawl space from the rest of the house, okay? And that might be a way to get a solution. You know what? Okay, seems to be dry and water passing through it continually are 2 different issues. Even at 60% relative humidity, it'll feel dry. But if there's moisture passing through, the plastic bag will trap it and it'll tell you there's moisture passing through and how bad it is. That's the key. The deal is this. When you're dealing with basements, guys, there is no one answer. Every house is unique, okay? Building science has changed so many times. The soil conditions change all over. Your geography has a lot to do with it. How much average rainfall? What's your water table? Did you waterproof outside? Do you have good drainage? There's so many factors in designing a basement system. The best way to do it is join our membership. $5, you can get in the chat like this with me on my Discord, and then I can have you send me pictures. We can identify everything that's going on and develop a system that's just for your house. So you don't have to invest. Or, you know, you can hire a contractor and he'll sell you the most expensive solution on the market. Somewhere in between, there's a way that you can be practical and do it yourself. But if you want to save yourself a fortune, get on my Discord server with me, join our membership, and I'll help design it for you. I'm more than happy to do it. Okay. And hey, Jeff, had a basement bath leak and the subfloor is all warped. Since the washroom wasn't properly waterproofed, we also found mold. How would you remove the subfloor that's under the existing walls? If it's that bad, what you want to do is you want to take your saw and you want to just cut it out and then back frame your floor so that you can put new subfloor in. Okay. So you can take a skill saw. The blade is only 1.5 inches away from your wall. And you can run your skill saw right up against the outside of that. And then you can add another 2x4. Back frame, back frame, back frame. Okay. But you got to find a place to get back to solid wood where you're standing. If you leave a little bit of the old subfloor around the edges and it's a little bit high, who cares? Come up with a system where your new floor is going to be set in thin set and those issues will be mitigated. And since you're not walking around the perimeter of your bathroom, it's not going to have a structural issue if you back frame underneath. Really good. Okay. Even cross frame in your joist package, PL premium glue and nails or screws. And then once it's all dried, then step on top with your plywood. You'll be just fine. Cheers, buddy. All right, Matt. Now you see what I'm saying. Yep. All right, now we start to look like we're working in a jail cell here a little bit, but here we want to look at this. We need a few things for this wall. Okay. Wood on the outside corners, okay? And so that we can attach our drywall and our corner beats. Okay. This footer now is going to sit flush with my 2x4 wall. It sits on top of this plate, and it sits on top of this plate. So now when we're taking a look at our load transfer, remember this is going to go right to the top of the ceiling eventually. That's going to be a fair amount of weight. I want it to hit this footer, travel to this point, because now this is going across. We have framing underneath here, right? Right here. And so now this part is cantilevered off that frame, and it'll pick it up really nicely, especially if the outside corner, we build it like an L, screw it together all the way up, and then we tie the top together as well, okay? That'll become a really strong structure. So when we build this section wall, we want to actually have it finished at this height, all right, intentionally, so that we can then put a plate across and tie that corner together with this on top of that. So it's sitting there and it's sitting there. It'll be supported in two places. So the first thing we do is we realize we need wood out here. Now, if you pull this wall back, you'll see that I made a mark here. Okay, I want a 2x4 in the flat here on that face. Gotcha. Okay, and so if you take it back, lay it down, it'll be on the ground. Yeah, gotcha. Beautiful. You got it. And then the rest of this will just whip together. Okay, so you see where I got that marked out? You got it. Bam. Well played. All right. Yeah, I saw a comment there that it said, there we go. Now we got a new member. And you know why? Because at the end of the day, guys, if you need help, where are you going to go? Like, you're going to call a contractor? Yeah, okay. Every time you call a contractor for advice, it costs you about $10,000 more than it should. I'm just saying. Nothing against contractors, but they're going to sell you the most expensive solution because they need a guarantee. And they're not going to invest the time and energy to get to know your home. They're going to say, here's our system. We developed the system for basements because it works everywhere. And that's the wrong answer because no one system works everywhere, first of all. But if you've been calling contractors lately, everybody has one thing that they do. They specialize in it and they have one system. And they don't deviate from the plan. And if it doesn't fit your house, you're not a customer. They're moving on. And it's getting weird. Trying to get customizing work done nowadays is almost impossible. Anyway, if you have questions and you want to know how to save money and get a great result, there's ways to get there. For every flooring option, let me just rhyme off a few that are out there for subfloors for your basement. Okay, you've got DMX, AG, exterior membrane, dimpled membrane. You put on the ground, 5/8 OSB. You can tap on any concrete. Made at home solution, very cost effective, half the price of the 2x2 panels you can buy at the store. You got the barricade panel. You've got the what is that other one called? I can't remember anymore. The insulated panels for the floors. Dry core, yeah, my God. You got dry core panels, you got insulated, you got plastic membrane, and you got just insulation panels if you're only gonna go with a floating floor. You got 3 options from them. You've got, you can put all your walls in, and then you can go, if you got dry concrete, you can go 2-in-1 underlayment from DMX, right? One Step 2.0 is the new product that they got. That's a great way to get a thermal break and have an airspace underneath and put a floating floor on top. Piece of cake. I mean, if you're really dry, you can go with that solid rigid foam insulation and plywood. And if you want to just like keep it simple, you can just go vinyl right on your concrete. Like honestly, or you can go carpet. Like you don't have to spend a fortune. What's your basement for? Are you making a living space for your elderly parents? Shame on you. You should live in the basement. All right. Anyway. Nah, we'll take it. Sure. Hamilton, listen, I get it. You're here. And if you're just tuning in, guys, we're here at my forever home. We're framing the house. I'm supposed to say this a lot more often, but I'm delinquent. I got caught up in the job. Hamilton, you got a 2x8, 16 on center. Wow. I hate that. That was built before building code. 2 inches of subfloor. Yeah, someone was trying to deal with your deflection. You're building a kitchen on this floor, 5x7 island, and stone top and tile floor. Okay, you know you have problems. Is this construction sufficient for the weight of all this? Not even close. I'll give you a rule of thumb. 2x8 framing was used before we had building codes, so there was no law against stupid, okay? There's a lot of houses built out there in the early 70s, late 60s, 2x8 framing, and they suck. You can't put heavy things in them. You can barely even put a fridge in those houses. Forget about tile. Here's what you do. Let's say this is your floor joist package, okay? And that's your kitchen, top to bottom. And you got 2x8s, all right? You want to put something really heavy right here in the middle. You can go in your kitchen right now, and you can just go like this and have your kids film how much the floor is moving, all right? It'll blow your mind. I bet you're bouncing up and down about an inch overall. The way you fix that problem, it's the span of your floor. So what you do is you get yourself an engineer who's going to come across and he's going to engineer a beam to pick up the weight of the middle with posts that go right to the foundation, okay? And what he's going to do is he's going to cut the span in half so that 2x8 is strong enough. Are you over here? We'll go over here. If your kitchen is more than 6 feet wide, you're going to have too much deflection. Your assembly won't work, okay? Well, not only do you run the risk of breaking right through the floor, but your tile is going to be garbage. It's going to crack, and you're going to be really upset. So the way you engineer that is you put a nice beam, maybe a couple LVLs at 7 1/4, put posts to the ground. You cut the distance in half. So now your 12-foot wide kitchen is only 6 feet to support. You need support every 6 feet on 2x8s, or you can't use any modern materials. You'd have to go like sheet vinyl, right? And particle board countertops, or you're putting too much weight in there. That's all there is to it. So that's the answer to your question. You need an engineer to make that floor strong enough for your design. You might even get away, depending on the span and the size and the gaps, you might engineer you to laminate all of your joists with plywood, okay? Maybe that's an option. Or he might say, hey, laminate 2x8 with a 2x10 floor joist and bring that package in your whole floor. It all depends. I mean, how much electrical and plumbing is running through that floor, right? All those reworking issues could be solved by putting a beam underneath if you'd rather sacrifice the space underneath. Anyway, that's a question, Hamilton. You should become a member. You can send me pictures. And I can tell you what I would do in that situation. Because for a little conversation that we can have, I can save your bacon and maybe save you a trip to the engineer's office. Because the structural engineer who's going to come to your house, do a site visit, draw up plans and everything else, it's going to cost you a couple $1,000. If you're willing to spend that money because you're doing a forever project renovation, it's worth it. But if you're looking for little suggestions and options and you're going to put at the end of your budget, then feel free. Jump into membership and I can help you out with my experiences with the engineering in that situation. I can't stamp it for you. Okay, I'm not going to help you pass an inspection. But at the end of the day, the city, even if they're inspecting your project and you're on permit, are not going to demand that you fix your structure. There's going to be no requirement in the building process. It's just wisdom knowing that that's going to fail and you're going to be furious, okay? So get it done right the first time and save yourself the hassle. Cheers. All right, let's go, Maddie. Here we go. We now have our floor where we want it, where that plywood is, okay? That is exactly the way that we want this to look. All right? Nice, tight there. That's where we're going to put it. Okay? Why does that look like it's leaning something fierce? We got the level here. What is going on with this floor here? I feel like it has a big, really bad dip. Yeah, so what we're going to end up doing here, when we build this out, we're going to tie that corner together, and we're going to have to like push that together to straighten it out.
Sure.
That's going to be a pain. All right. Now we got the solution. I want to build the solution last. Okay. I want to build this wall first. We'll get this corner squared. Then we'll worry about back here.
Okay.
It's
I want to fasten this down while we build the other house. Do we want to put a cross brace into the floor?
Nah. You got your nailer?
Yep.
Bring it on over and I'll show you. This is as easy as it gets, folks. Here we go. So I've got my plate where I want it. I'm lined up right on that plywood. I got that where I want it. Here. Okay. Now, underneath we have a piece of wood coming across. So you put 2 nails right there.
Right there?
Yep. That ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy, huh? But it works. All right. Now, let's also deal with this. Because I can't attach that to the floor. Just throw me a few nails like that. Okay. Now, we now officially have a wall right there. Okay? Beautiful. Now, the way we're going to build this next section wall is we're going to measure from that point to the top. All right? At -3 inches. So we can frame it and drop it in flush. Okay?
The top -3 inches.
Yep. So we're going to do $90. That's about as convenient as it gets. 87.
87.
Okay, now I need, well, I need a top and bottom plate for it first.
Okay, so
Right.
we go up, these cuts or the other one that we had pre-cut?
No, you can make it out of that. That's fine.
287.
No, that's my height. Give me 2 at 42 for my top and bottom plate. Hold on. No. 42. No. Let's go here. Yeah. 2 at 40. That's better. Top and bottom plate's 40 inch. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're just going to have to create a way to tie all this together. This is very creative framing. My goodness. You'll understand when we're all done. We'll walk you through the whole process. It'll make sense when we're done. But the basic concept is I'm building a wall to sit on top of this footer, which acts like a header. It's tetrised in now, so the weight is transferred onto the 2x6, this is actually over top of a double 2x10. So this is the perfect load location. Over here, it's not as ideal, but it's on my 2x4 that's spanning across a structural point here. Okay, and so I'm going to build a wall that sits flush right up to that header there and into this at that height. And then I'm going to put another plate on top of it to transfer load to the top of that plate, which will come across here as well. The whole thing is a little bit messy, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Everybody chuckled. I thought that was funny. All right, here we go. So here's my wall mat. I need wood on the side here, obviously, right? So I have framing for my drywall. I need something here so I can tie my other wall to, right? And then I just need something in the middle to support my drywall. And I need two. So we're going to go like this. And we're just going to split the distance. Okay? That is less crucial. So here we are. We're going to make that wall. We need 4 pieces at, what do we say, 87? Okay, so you want to cut me 87s out of that other stack? That stack over there? And then I'm going to get working on this wall over here. Now we got it figured out. Folks, we need time to work all this together. All right. Let's go back to our drawing. Let's see what we got. 2.5 feet from there to there. It's a 28 door. And we're obviously going with a short vanity, an 18-inch vanity. 2.5 feet, 2.5 feet. Okay. Let's see how that works out. So my design calls for 2.5 feet for my finish, which makes me the 21. 2.5 from the finish wall, which makes me 21 on the frame. And that's supposed to be sufficient for my door, which is plenty. So what I want to do, I think we're doing with a 28-inch door again. 24, 28-inch door. 28-inch door is a 30-inch hole. Yeah. 28-inch door. I need a 30-inch hole. Let's just go mark the center and we'll work from there. It's 36, 18.5. Here's my center. So I want a 30-inch hole. And this door opens out, so we don't have any issues. So we got 15 and then 30. Okay. And we're going to go with what we call a jack stud and then a king stud. All right. So that's going to be a jack and a king. The difference is when we're framing a door, the jack studs are short, the king studs are longer. They go right to the ceiling. The jack stud goes to the top of the door, right? And then we can put our door plate across on top of it, and then we put cripples on top of that. There we go. Thank you for that. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, we'll show you as we build it. This is me fun. Where did I put my explosive water bottle? There we go. Oh, that didn't make any sense. Hey, Laura's in the chat. Hey, Laura, good to see you again. And Theo's here. We got members all over the place. I'm glad you guys found time to come and join us here. Oh, you know what I'm noticing here? It says that my mic is muted here. That's my backup. We're still coming through that one? Good to know. All right. Hey, Laura, Jeff, because of you, you caught so many things during our reno that I knew the guys needed to do better properly. You make sure everything is extra solid, and I love that. Very cool. You're welcome. Because most guys that are out there doing their jobs aren't thinking end to the beginning like this. They're thinking how to get the job done today. And then whatever happens down the road, that's somebody else's problem, right? That's the difference on this channel. We're not going to just make you do something so you have to fix it later. We're going to teach you how to do it so you don't have to do it again and again and again. How many channels are out there, guys, spend more time fixing the mistakes that they've made than moving forward? It's unbelievable. And not just channels. I'm talking about every tradesman out there. Like the carpenter, he's working with a messed up foundation, so he frames it accordingly, and then nothing's square. And then the electricians come in, and there's no room for all the boxes according to the schematic. And the plumbers come and it's like, why is the toilet always on a floor joist? Why can't anybody build a house right? This is always the same thing. Harris says his house main floor has original tiles in great condition, but we want to install engineered hardwood. Do you recommend taking those out or install over top? Oh, for the love of God, get rid of the old junk. Always go back to your subfloor, guys. Okay? listen, if there's tile there, it's not on your subfloor. It's on a second layer of subfloor. So you take the tile, you take the second layer of subfloor, go back to the original, and then your engineered flooring is probably 3/4, maybe 1/2 inch, but you're not going to have this huge step. You don't want to have to build stairs to go from one floor to the next floor. It's just not necessary. There you go.
So where's the,
How we're doing here?
That's built.
Okay.
How's it going in? Is this side going in the corner?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just throw it up and see what happens.
Okay.
I mean, there's a chance that I've made a mistake here. We'll see. Probably the other way. Does that look right to you?
I'm not too sure.
Like, I'm not a big fan. I think it should be spun around. I think I had it set up so that this was right here so I can take drywall from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we did. Holy cow. All righty. Yeah, that looks a little bit more like what I was thinking. That's okay. It's just, no, it's all going to be a little kerfuzzled until we get that in. All right. So that looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, nothing is tied together yet, so it's going to be a little bit of a mess, but that's the basics of this wall. So we get the top of that tied in. That becomes a nice column. I've got a nailing surface over here for drywall, right? That's good. I've got outside corners, got wood, nailing surface there as well. We could always add a little bit of back framing if we need to. We get that squared off. We're good. Drywall, drywall. Yeah, okay, Matt, I think I like it.
Cool.
You good? All right. Now, the only thing we have to do is figure out how to get it all fastened in. Okay? It is probably easier for us to attach this bottom plate from underneath the nail gun. So why don't you go down there? I'll put it in the right position. I'll stand nowhere near it. Yeah. Let's just get all this tied in based on that plywood. There. That is good. Okay, so if you do your left side, it comes right to the edge of the plywood. So just go back about 1.5 inches and then nail straight up. Okay. Good. Thank you. All right, now you can come.
I gotta get one more in here.
Okay. All right, now we'll nail the top down into our little footer that we got there. Hold on. Good. Okay. Got it. Beautiful. All right. And then as far as all these other corners are concerned, I think if you nail into that, pick up that bottom plate here. Beautiful. Okay. And then everything else for now, we'll just throw a screw in it when we get there. We'll just wait until we build this next wall. All right. So I'm just finishing out mapping this out, right? Let's go back to where we were. Here's the center of our door. I'm going to go over here. I got a 28-inch door on the spec. We've got a 30-inch gap. So we're going to go kings, jacks. And then we're going to have a stud at each end, right? Obviously. That solves all that problem. The only thing I've got to deal with here now is electrical for the bathroom. What do we got on that electrical schematic for where the sink goes?
For the bathroom. Okay, so it looks like we have 3 switches on the front.
3 switches on that side, and that'll be on the other side of the king, and that'll be fine. Over here, any vanity plugs? There it is. No?
We don't have any vanity plugs?
Okay. We don't need to.
No.
There's no code requirement for it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to ask for one, though. So I'm going to try to probably put it in the wall side.
Okay.
It leaves me the most options for doing backsplashes, or if I just want to go with like a bowl sink instead of a cabinet.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we'll do. So if we're going to have a vanity plug, then we got to cut this distance down. Comes out to maybe 18. I'm just going to go with a center line. Doesn't matter. And then over here, we'll do the same. We'll just split the difference so that we are less than 16. You know, I'll probably draw that as a straight line. My goodness. There we go. There's a better joint for you, man. Okay. So let's go build that wall. And we'll do that together because the king and jack situation is going to be very unique.
I get confused with that.
Yeah, no problem.
Not a bro.
It's all right. We'll get there together. Let's move to the side of that register vent too. That's going to cause us issues. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got our regular full-size studs, right? So let's lay those all out from the end coming to the kings, and then we'll talk about the jacks.
4, 5, 6.
2, 4, 6, yep. Beautiful. All right. And what was the lighting spec here? It's a double box, double switch, one for the fan, one for the light, right?
I'm not good at reading this stuff.
Okay. It'll have like a dollar sign there.
Yeah, so we got $3 signs on the right side of the doorway.
Really?
If you're looking at the wall.
3
Yeah,
for a powder room.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I wonder what Ev's got in her mind. Maybe she's got sconces and then a ceiling light and a fan. But that's fine. That's still only 4.5 inches. We got lots of room. Okay. And the bottom line is, now we're going to cut a couple of jacks. Okay. So nail this together, and then we'll worry about the jacks and the cripples. All right. That's the best way to go about this. All right. Whew. Oh, Ev, my girl's got lights coming all over the place. It's going to be amazing. All right. Let's see what we.
Jeff, there's some people chatting about how to approach renovation.
Yeah.
Total beginner. Give them a broad strokes idea about how to do it, avoid making mistakes.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Well, listen. I know when you're looking at this, you're like, that looks really messed up, guys. Yeah, I agree. But we're building it on a floor that's messed up. Right? When you're renovating, nothing is going to be normal. So here's the approach you got to take. First, you deal with your structure, okay? Try to get things as flat and strong as possible. Think through all of your mechanical systems, your cold air, your heat runs, your plumbing, any of your HVAC systems. Get all of those concepts and constructs sorted out before you move forward. Like on this job, we gut the basement. We put in brand new center wall with post and beam construction. And we have a space between the ductwork for all of our chase of all of our plumbing and electrical. And that's going to be captured inside the bulkhead. Solves all of our problems. Once you have your structure, you need to have a finished plan, because every decision you make from there moving forward is based on what the finishes are going to be. We need to know our electrical locations, our plumbing locations, which fixtures we're using, how the drains operate, right? Is it center, left, right? I don't have a clue. I mean, there's all these little details in the program. If you want to, you can renovate with 2 different designs. One is a design-driven renovation, where everything you do is based on what's posted on that wall. Okay? The designer makes a plan, and you make the house fit the plan. The second approach that you got is your practical approach, where you modify every decision you make based on the conditions on site. All right? They're 2 totally different ways of going about it. All right? So, like as a homeowner trying to refinish a space, you want to use, most of the time, you want to go with the second option. Make all your decisions based on your conditions. Okay? Don't try to make a basement be something that it's not. If it's going to be a damp basement, you're going to have a damp basement. You know, maybe don't renovate it to the full extent of the law, right? Use it as a recreational space and you can hang out in and keep the dehumidifier running, and don't worry about Taj Mahal. There's no value in a wet basement anyway. And if you go to sell your house in 10 years and it's covered in mold, you've done more damage to your home than you have brought up the value. So just remember, right? You got to renovate with what you got. You can't make it into something that's not, unless you're willing to spend a fortune and update all the mechanical systems and the waterproofing systems in your house. And a member's question here, and then we'll jump back. Just started finishing my basement project. After ripping out the contractor's insulation just under the windows, only there were dimples, matte on the concrete wall. See pictures, should I rip them out? See pictures. We have pictures? Yeah, okay, Francis, send me those pictures in the Discord, buddy. I'll take a look at them. If the dimpled mat is on the inside, then it means they didn't foundation waterproof outside. And so it's trying to perform some function to keep the humidity or the moisture from coming through that wall. It's probably not working for you, right? Just saying. I'm going to jump into the Discord and I'll have a look at that a little later. Wow, and we got more members' questions. We'll just answer a few of these here. Jeff just wanted to tell you I finally finished our utility room tile job. Good for you. I'd asked you some questions about it and it turned out great. Send me some pics and video, thanks. Cheers, DIY Dave. Good for you, buddy. That's the whole point of our channel, guys. We're going to help you go from A to B, A to Z, and get successful results the first time. Alrighty, what else we got? We got a question here from another member. Is it okay to hang ceiling drywall straight onto the trusses? No. Let me show you why. Look at all that movement. You didn't see that. How about this one? Look at that movement. Can you see that? You're going to go to the other camera? Okay. Just point it up a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's plenty. Yeah, this will work. Look at all that movement. All right, there we go. You do not want to rely on your drywall for your structural stability of your home. All right. It will end up cracking. And it's going to be a source of a real pain in the butt. All right, because sooner or later, someone's going to have to go up there, and they're going to be walking on those trusses. And then you don't have any wood there to support the movement, the lateral movement when they're up there working. And then that's when your ceiling is going to get damaged, okay? So put up a piece of strapping first. Save yourself the headache. And Theo, he's got seen wet spots, brand new remodeled shower using pebble tiles. It could take up to 1 day for those areas to dry. Yeah, and that's because your water is getting into your grout. You have a porous grout. I'm going to recommend, they're saying redo the floor, blah, blah, blah. Sealers, yeah, you want to do sealer. Listen, you probably have a porous grout. All right, if you put those little pebbles, you probably use an unsanded grout to fill the space. And if you didn't buy the unsanded grout that has the polymer modification, you don't have a sealer. So seal the grout first and see if that continues. Bottom line, guys, when you're doing your own custom showers, I always recommend put in-floor heating because then you got a source to dry it out, right? Whether the water's getting through the grout in the floor or getting behind the tiles and ending up underneath your floor, it makes no difference. All showers will dry out eventually if they're waterproof, all right? This just becomes a question of how much regular use does it get? And if the floor stays wet all the time, sooner or later your waterproofing will fail, all right? Because it's not a submarine, it's a shower. So find a way to keep it from getting wet, and if you can't, use it less frequently, okay? So try the sealer first. Oh, and when finishing a basement, is there any advantage, disadvantage to using metal studs versus wood when framing? Yeah, wood is safer, and it doesn't have as much of a thermal bridge, okay? So in a basement, especially in cold climate, every one of those metal studs is cold all the time. You've always got an opportunity for condensation to happen because you've got heat on one side and cold on the other. And so there's always condensation happening in the wall. If you're going to use steel, go to mineral wool insulation and use a pressure treated bottom plate. And you should be okay as long as you keep an airspace in the back so that moisture can find a way to dry out. Anyway, if you love steel that much, use it, but wood is generally better. All right. Okay, here we go.
I have a question about your marks over here.
Yeah.
Are we just going in between these lines? Or am I going up to that?
Oh, you went with that line. Okay.
No, I didn't nail it yet.
You didn't nail it. Okay, let me just do this again. I think this mark is perfect. Yeah, that's the 30. That should be 33. It's a little wild. Yeah, you got a little scrap piece of wood?
Yep.
Okay. I did not pull out the square and really mark this off very professionally. My bad. No wonder you had a question. Just go like this and bring it up to this inside point, because this is the only one that actually measured out.
Gotcha.
The rest was just me talking rough debating. Okay. So if you use that block on all four corners, then you'll be fine. Thanks, Matt. Good call. Good catch, buddy. And as for this crazy wall, all I got to do is push, and it straightens out. All right. You like that, Joe? So we're going to level this off in a minute, but we want to get all these walls together. Once I get this one in, we can screw this one together. The other one's in a stairwell, and I don't want to start fixing the wall from there. I'm going to start fixing the wall from here, and then that'll automatically correct all those problems. I can get up on a ladder and then fix it from the inside later. All right. What's up?
All right.
Did you do that one now?
Yep.
This one's done too? Yep. Based on those inside marks?
Yeah.
Nice. Why is it on your foot? Let it back down. Let it back down. We got to do the jacks still. Okay. Now, the way we do jacks. Well, the way I do jacks anyway. I can't speak for everybody. But we got to remember, we're putting in a door. The schematic says what? 84. Okay. So an 84-inch door needs an 86-inch space. Okay. Because you always want to have jamb plus a little extra room. And we're measuring from the subfloor for 86. So we measure on the outside of the bottom plate, which will be cut out later. And we come up here, 84, we go to 86. Whoa, that's way up here. Okay. There is my mark. Wow. These are going to be some sexy doors. I'm really starting to appreciate the design more and more the more I build here. This is pretty awesome. All right. And so this becomes the height of the jack. Okay. And then we can put a top plate on top of that. All right. Okay. And then we'll just cut a couple of little blocks inside so that it keeps it all stable. Okay. All right. So
286, one on top of them. And
no. 86 was our measurement. But now you measure from inside. So that'll be for 84 and a half. 84 and a half. Because we measured from the subfloor for the height of our door to create our hole, but now we're measuring on the plate.
You said our doors are 86 or 88?
Our doors are 84. But we need a 2-inch space because that is a design feature.
That's so confusing.
Well, let me do this again.
All right.
All right. The door is 84 inches tall.
Right.
An 84-inch door needs space on the bottom and on the top for the jamb. So we make an 86-inch hole. Okay, that hole is from the subfloor to the top of the header.
I see.
So we cut it, we mark 86. But then we're actually making, because we're putting it on top of this, we lose 1.5 inches. So we're going to go with 84 and a half, twice. Does that make sense now?
A little bit.
Okay, we can do it again next time. We'll sort that out. Well, we're going to do another door, and so I'll have you mark that one out yourself so that you could get the feel for it.
Okay. 84 and a half?
Yes, sir. Twice. That's awesome. Yeah. So this is what happens when you're working with designer drawings. These aren't framing drawings. These are not a blueprint, right? Every measurement here isn't exactly what we're cutting. All right. Now, because we're making a door, we want a nail from inside going out. So if the nail penetrates, it's sticking out on the inside of the wall. It's not going to interrupt with the door jamb installation. There we go. Oh. Now, if you notice, this one's a little warped. I actually had to lift up the back end to put that nail in. This stud's a little warped. You can correct that as you go. There we go. And then through the bottom. Okay. Done and done. Well, maybe you didn't. Maybe it's just perfect. All right, now you want to measure for one cripple is fine, and considering. I'm not going to get crazy about that. I mean, this wall ends up being longer than 8 feet, so they're going to use a 10-foot sheet of drywall horizontally twice anyway. So we don't need to worry about drywall stopping in the middle of that wall. It's another thing to consider, okay? So always think about one, we haven't talked about drywalling yet, right? You want wood on the outside of all your corners, okay? You also want to make sure that if your wall is longer than 8 feet from the outside corner where the drywall goes, there's a stud every 16 inches or piece thereof, even above the door, so that where the sheet of drywall stops, another sheet it's right in the middle of a stud. That's why we mark 16 on center, so our sheet goods always have a place to land. Anything less than 8 feet, who cares? That's a renovation technique. Anything less than 10 feet, who cares? We can buy 10 feet drywall. In a basement, however, you've got to really pay attention to this because a lot of basements aren't built to bring sheet goods down that are longer than 8 feet. There's a ton of basements out there that don't have a window big enough to slide it through, or they have a turn in the staircase, and you can only get 8-foot sheets, or the height of the ceiling is too low for you to bring a 10-foot sheet down the stairs and walk it into the room. It can't make the bend. All right? So if one of those conditions exists and you're working in your house, you've got to have somewhere to have a joint on your drywall every 8 feet. And the bottom sheet and the top sheet are staggered. So make sure your entire wall is every 16 inches. Run a tape down it. Mark the whole thing. Okay? Make sure you're measuring 16 on center so that your sheet goods are always perfect. Besides, their bad insulation also comes for 16 on center. It's all designed on purpose that way. Okay, so now we got a door. We got a wall. And it should just slide right over, but you can walk it over on an angle and then stick it up if you want. All right. Yeah, it goes inside and inside, so let's just get that out of the way. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, what we're going to do here, Matt, is we're going to deal with this. I'm going to put the square on that corner. We're going to get this wall in the right spot. We're going to nail the other side first. Okay? I'll hold this and get the nailer. Just make sure that this is nice and square. And it's out a bit. Here we go. Throw in a couple nails there. Lock that location. All right. And now we're going to bring this plate up right to it until it's nicely pinched. Put two right next to that stud so we can still, no, just one. Yeah. There. Now we can still have room to pivot the other end, okay? But what we want to do is we want to nail this together now. Okay. Now, because this is a safe place to do this, all right, we actually get to tie these corners together. So go ahead. Fire in a few nails. Okay, and then fill up that gap every 16. Let's make it nice and square. Nice and strong. Beautiful. Okay, we're good. Whew. Now we're going to build this wall and this wall and this wall. I've already mapped them all out, right? So this should go really quick. These are all pre-built studs. So we'll start with a long wall here on the back. All right. All righty, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Make it 5. Always have one on the outside. Am I not giving you enough? I'm going to move this down here then. Okay. I'll get this. Grab one more for us. Right here. Okay. There you go. Whip that together. I'll go see if members got any more questions for us. Oh. Whew. Yeah, we're back. Good. Let's go at it for a few minutes. Hey, Matt, when you're done nailing that wall together, why don't you take a break, okay? Yeah. Grab yourself a drink or something, dude. All right, I'll answer some questions while I'm drinking. You too, Joe. Grab a break, buddy. Everybody's working hard over here. I've still got a good half. You know me, I don't care if it's wet or cold. It just... It's warmer in here than you think. I mean, it is summertime. We're not outside, but there's no insulation in the ceiling, so we got the air conditioning in the basement set at 62. Trying to just pump this cold air up here. All right, Kevin, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining our membership. Jeff, do you like underfloor retrofit hydronic heat systems? You got a 58 ranch in central Minnesota. Semi-finished basement with drop ceiling. Current heating system is hot water heat. Okay, well, you know, if you've already got a hydronic system operating, then adding that into your basement is a good idea. If you can take your pipes right to your main pump, that's even better. For a lot of folks though, Kevin, they'd have to bring in like a gas water heater, and they'd have to do like an on-demand system for the heat in the floor. That's another option. But yeah, I'm a big fan. If you have an older house, like a 58 ranch, definitely, you have 4-season climate, Minnesota, then yeah, definitely having heat floor is great. Electric is an option, but then you've got to bury the cables, and that goes on top of a subfloor, on top of your concrete. If you're going to go with a hydronic heat system in a basement in a 58, you don't have a lot of ceiling height, so you might even have to take up your concrete first and then reintegrate all that as part of the system. Right? There's pros and cons to all that, obviously. Up here, we actually have a region just north of us, it's Quebec. And Quebec has a really inexpensive hydro because they have massive dam systems that provide really cheap electricity. And so all the homes there run on electric heat. And what you'll find in, guys, if you're from Quebec and you're building out your basements with electric baseboard heat, you have a heat source at the floor that is eating the moisture alive. So even in older homes, all the rules that I use for renovating almost anywhere else don't exist if you have electric baseboard heat, because you solve most of your problems with the heat source. And so you've got a really great opportunity there to renovate your basements really cost effectively, because you don't need to integrate a lot of extra technology because you have dry heat. But hydronic heat floors in the slab provide you with very similar results because it keeps that slab dry, right? And that's the benefit. It's really hard for moisture to migrate when it's being, you know, force-fed hot water all the time in the pipes. Hot concrete stays drier than cold concrete. End of discussion. So it's good for you. You're going to replace it with a new boiler. Yeah, then integrate it, you know? That's your call. And if you've got a 10-foot ceiling, hell yeah, all right? Enough said. Lay your pipes and just pour some more mortar over top and call it a day. That would be amazing. If you want to add underfloor to the main floor and you've got a 10-foot ceiling in your basement, there is a product out there. It's a subfloor that's actually designed with the grooves in the subfloor for laying your tubing for your hot water. I can't remember the name of it, but if you Google that, it's a plywood sandwich company. Okay, and you can actually just add new subfloor on top of your existing subfloor, run all your hydrating. If you're going to do that and raise your basement floor and you raise the other floor, you can actually take your stairs apart and then reinstate your stairs going 2 inches up on both levels. Just a thought. Anyway, yeah, keep that under there. Wow, that's awesome. All right, hit me up. Nick, hey, cheers, Nick. Welcome back. RenoVision, my house has the original 53 boiler for hot water baseboard heating. How DIY-able is a replacement boiler? Yeah. You know, it's not the work. It's the sourcing of the fittings. That's the trick. So if you've got a place that's around that is willing to help work with you, then you can actually take your fittings apart and you can measure, you can bring O-rings in and you can bring your pipes in. And if they're going to be willing to help you put your new assembly to put it all back together again, because you might be converting from different pipe sizes, and Home Depots don't usually carry that kind of commercial quality plumbing. So you're going to want to find a local supplier that's willing to help work with you and help get you. But, you know, you turn off the water, you let everything cool down, you know, I mean, worst case scenario, you take a Sawzall blade and you cut the old boiler out and then you do a new assembly from there. It's just about getting the right fittings and the right diameters, interior and exterior and thread sizes to make all those connections. And you're not going to get that advice at your local hardware store. So make sure you got someone local who'll help you fill that gap. But as a DIY project, sure. It's just plumbing, right? It's basically Lego for adults. So the secret is to have the right size and shape pieces. That's all. Cheers. Darkest dot. What are the minimums for non-load framing? The minimums, 24 on center. Yeah, you can go, yeah, you know what? The funny thing is, it's for non-load framing, your minimums have to be, your wall has to be thick enough to support your electrical, okay? So you have to really be able to think through your electrical requirements. I just finished working at the church and we added a bedroom down there and make it a single family home. Passed the permit, lovely. Looks like the house is sold. That's great. Moving on, I ran into a situation where I had 6 wires coming out of my box instead of 5, which was code. So I had a regular box, and I had a black and a white coming in, and then I had a power from there going somewhere else, and then a switch leg. So I ended up with 6 wires. And the electrical inspector's like, hey, code is only 5. I'm like, of course. Like, what was I thinking? I need a deeper box. So I had to go out and buy a new box, rewire it, take a picture, send it off, pass permit, blah, blah, blah. The point is, you need to have a plan if you're going to go with a thinner wall, because that deeper box isn't supported on a 2x3. Aha. Challenge, challenge, challenge. All right. Could you use 2x2 on 24 in front of foam board? No. No, because I'll tell you what, if you're going to build the code, you need an R20 wall. You can't do that. Like, if you go with a 2-inch foam, you get R10, but you still got to get R10 in the bat. And they don't make R10 bats, they make R13. R13 is only R13 if it's inside a 2x4 framed wall. You need 3.5 inches of insulation to maintain that R value. If you put it in a 2x2 and you scrunch it up, you lose your R value, you're going to fail your inspection. And if you're not getting inspected, well, then it's kind of between you and God when you go to sell the house, because, you know, a good inspector is going to figure that one out. And you're going to save the cost of lumber. Why? Lumber prices are back down. Put in the right framing, get the right R value, and save yourself on your heat, because the cost you're going to lose on having poor R value in the basement is far outweighed by the cost of the actual. Juliana, appreciate your channel. Avid DIYer and bought a semi-fixer upper home last. What is a semi-fixer upper? I love that. It's not like remodeling. You're not changing structure or windows and doors, but you're kind of doing everything else. You got a wood burning stove removed before buying your home. Ugly gaping hole found. They stuffed with a towel. Yeah, towels are only really temporary. They keep the birds out. That's about it. How do you remove the towel, and should I do so? Also, how and with what should I seal up the hole? Okay, so if they got rid of the stove but they left the pipe, right? Then you've got an issue, because how does the pipe leave the house? Does it go through the roof, or does it go and bend out through the wall? If it goes out through the wall, then you got a lot more protection against the weather, okay? But you want to make sure the outside is capped off, probably with something aluminum and a polyurethane seal. And then that big hole, you can just use a can of Big Gap spray foam filler. That's it, all right? Have it set up so you can fill it full of foam, and you can put a piece of plywood over top of it with a couple of screws on the wall to keep it compressed for like 6 hours or something. And then when it's all said and done and dried, you can take your plywood off, and it'll be insulated flush, and you won't have any more problems with that hole. All right, so hopefully that helps. Oh yeah, you got a high water table, so you can't do basements without flooding. You want to build a home with a split level, mostly above ground. Can a second level be built with a split level home? Yeah, anything is possible. You know, like really all comes down to your soil conditions if you're going to put a 2-story structure somewhere. So that's part of your process. If you're going to build from scratch, soil conditions are key. You got to be careful. Some places, like for instance in Texas, they get poor soil conditions and it doesn't compact very well. Most building code requires compactable soil to have a certain PSI standard, okay? And so that is your biggest issue. Is it better to have 2 floors built above ground? They do this in Florida all the time. They'll go slab on grade, all right? And they'll pour the footings with rebar engineered for a 2-story home. And all it is, it's a weight calculation. The engineer makes it, and they create the footing for that calculation. And they do this in Florida all the time. I'm not sure where you live, but Central Utah, there you go. Definitely talk to a local soil engineer, okay? They'll know what regions of Utah have issues or don't, and that'll help your buying decision as far as what part of property you want to buy. All right, that's easier. Go to the engineer who works in the neighborhood, and he'll tell you where not to buy based on what you're looking to do. And he can help save you money before you even go get it engineered. Cheers. All right, you're welcome. Yeah, Matt's just back there building walls like a crazy man because I got it all mapped out. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll do one more. Mike Safari, you got a gas fireplace was converted from wood burning in the 90s, but there's also a hole directly to the outside and it's drafty. Wood burning in the 90s. Okay. We've got a chimney out the roof. Can I close that hole? Okay, so if you got a gas fireplace converted from wood, if your gas venting is a white PVC pipe that goes out through the sidewall, then yes, you can close off the chimney. Okay? That's not an issue. The chimney is there to let things escape, and the weakness is it also lets things come in. So if you want to get rid of the chimney and you're not burning wood anymore, and it was just for the purpose of exhaust, you can close that off without a doubt. All right? So feel free. The best place to close it is where you have a thermal break. So depending on how the chimneys will run up the inside and then bend out and then go up, right? Like our chimney, we ripped it out of the house altogether just so that we could reestablish our thermal break because we didn't want to have something cold and running down the side of the building. And it made penetrations in the roof too. So it really comes to you. If you're not sure, Mike, you can join us in our membership, okay? You can send me pictures on our Discord. I can take a look at it and make some suggestions and help you identify the best plan to move forward. Sometimes the best thermal break option is to actually put a couple pieces of lumber and then set a piece of plywood in your chimney. And then you've got somewhere that you can spray some foam and fill up a thermal block right where your roof line is so that it's continuous out the building. All right. And can you double stack the foam board behind the framing? Okay, yes, but that's an expensive solution. And you still need framing, right? Because it supports your electrical, which you need every 10 feet along the wall. So why would you buy an expensive solution in foam board instead of just going with a cheap bat solution now that you've got a thermal break? It doesn't make any sense to me in my mind. But you do what you want to do. Remember, in Canada, 1.5 inch is 7.5. So you'd have to go to 2 inch to get R20, right? 2 layers of 2 inch. Yeah, that's about, that's $40 a foot to insulate your house. That's expensive, man. Stick to 20, and then that one insulation, 2 pieces of bat are going to cost you like $6 instead of another 20 or 25. Yeah, it definitely, you got to frame it. You might as well just bat it. All right. How are you doing?
Good.
I thought we stopped for a break, and I turn around and you're whipping all these walls together. You're just in the mood, are you?
Yeah. So there's one wall over here I had a question about.
Yeah, well, let's get her done. All right. Beautiful.
We said we needed 5 studs for this wall, right? But we have an extra mark in the middle, so I was kind of confused as far as like.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is 6. I am doubling the end for extra strength. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to do is I'm taking a look at this, Matt. Is that nailed in already? No. You see how they're warped?
I think
This one's got a bend?
Yep.
Oh, that's nailed in at that end?
that one is, yeah.
Okay. Make sure you nail this one first, and I'll clamp it before we nail it. Okay? All right, yeah, let's do that. Knock it off. Boom, 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 boom. There's my clamp. All right, now, this one is also twisted. So nail the bottom first, and then I'm going to roll the board to nail the top. All right, and right there. And watch your fingers. Yeah, you can do that way if you want. When in doubt, use an extra pair of hands, guys. Use the clamps. Okay, and nail from the outside in to laminate them together. And this board is high, so I'm going to stand on it. All right, there you go. And go top and bottom. Top and bottom is usually better, so they don't like warp and peel instead of one in the middle.
Oh, I should have alternated.
You should, yeah, you can double tap or alternate, whatever. Throw a couple more in before we forget about it. As soon as we lift this up, we're not in worrying about walls anymore. And we got to do the middle still.
So I was nailing downward. You want me to go upward after?
Oh, I would go like that and that and that and that, like
Oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Just to make sure there's resistance. Remember, when you're using nails, it doesn't have as much, force to keep things from curling on you, right?
Yeah.
So a few extra fasteners don't hurt. Okay, is this one not nailed either? Oh yeah, so both of these got to get tacked. Okay, let's do that. Let's get this out of here. Hey, so I'm in my bathroom now. This is gonna be my toilet. And then this will be my vanity. right here. Beautiful. Oh, and you got the other two already done. That's amazing. Is that a fly or an ant? If it's an ant, kill it. Yeah.
We've got a few questions along the way about electrical outlets.
Yeah.
Putting lots.
Yeah.
Want to speak to that at some point?
Why we got so much electrical going on?
No, just like what the plan is or whatever.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, let's see. Like, for instance, in the bathroom, we got a 3 switch going on here. So one is going to be for a fan, which is what I just call the, be kind to the next guy fan, right? And then we're going to have what looks to be maybe some wall sconces. And then one switch is a 3rd switch. The only other thing I could see would maybe a central room light, right? So, I mean, I don't know. If the plan calls for 3, I'm just gonna make sure I got room for 3. We can talk about our fixtures and stuff later. As far as plugs are concerned, when I'm talking with my designer, like Ev actually was awesome. She actually came to the house. We walked around, we talked about the finished placement of how we're gonna build and how our furniture is gonna work so that we could get our plugs where we want them. And then anything that's additional for code we put in, right? So we actually probably gonna have more power here than we need, but we're gonna have it in the right spot. Like I'm gonna have a bed centered on that wall, because you see that that's where the bathroom goes. I'm gonna have a nightstand on each side. So our plugs are gonna be behind those nightstands, so we aren't gonna see wires dangling everywhere. And from the beginning, always, always, always. Okay, so this is my long wall. Yeah. This is awesome. I love that we intentionally cut all of our studs before we started. So we have room for a second top plate to tie them all together. And there's gonna be room to shim. There's no fighting here. When you're working in a basement, you don't even need a double top plate. You can go with a single plate. And you make everything at the shortest height along the wall because there's variations all the time. Get it in place easy, add shims, then throw in a long screw. Make your life simple. If you try making everything rock solid and tight and you're always fighting and sledgehammers, make life easy. All right, now, Maddie, we're gonna laminate this wall. Right here. This is the easy part, okay? So you wanna tack from both sides. So you wanna reach out, you go every 2 feet, and then come back inside and hit the gaps. Okay. And make sure that we're following, you see how this is twisted?
Yeah.
All right, want to hit the top first, make sure that's in the right spot.
You don't want to go.
I'm going to throw a clamp on this.
You don't want to move it as we go up.
It makes it harder.
Does it?
If you go both ends and then you clamp the middle,
I see.
right?
Okay.
The shorter distance, the harder it is to adjust. Okay, I'm going to grab my silly third hand here. But this works so effectively. Hold on. You're going to find that almost impossible. Okay, so I'm going to just throw that clamp, get the other 2x4, because that makes that perfect.
Okay.
Off you go. Run and run. Run and gun, baby. Oh, yeah. All right. Beautiful. Okay, now we're not going to attach it to the floor until we get everything framed. And then we're going to throw a laser line on the outside line and get everything in line with that before we tack it to the floor. So here's my inside wall. Same thing, you're going to nail from this side. We're going to put the puzzle together first.
So where exactly is our line here?
We don't have one yet. That's why we're not attaching it to the floor.
Oh, we're going to move it around.
We'll build everything first, and then we'll put the laser on.
Nice.
All right? So you can just tacking into this one side only.
Just watch your face. And
Yes, sir.
Everything.
Okay, try to go as straight in as you can, and make sure your top is in the right position. That's it. And then one at the bottom, and then backfill a little bit. Now, okay, now I'm going to consider this. Here's my inside dimension. I'm exactly 79. Now I want to go my inside dimension here.
We're going with the square, right?
Yeah, Yeah, the only thing that's attached to the floor is that one wall. 79. Okay. Is that looking pretty straight to you? Yeah. 79. Now, come take a look at this. That's right on that stud. Okay. You see that? Throw one right here to tie that plate together.
Onto the mark there, or?
No, right where it is, right where it is. I'm creating a drywall corner. Okay.
So it's got to come this way.
Well, there's no truth in that this is in the right spot either. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure it's 79 inches.
Oh, my bad.
Right.
You're right.
So I'm squaring off the room by making this parallelogram. 79, 79. Okay. There we go. 79. Now, that's my location. Why is that not moving over? Did we throw nails into the floor somewhere there? No? Okay, good. All right, so throw one. Here, let me show you what I'm thinking. If I go through here on an angle down, I actually tied this to that bottom plate. Okay? Now, I want to make sure that that is right. Should be about there though, right?
Let me get in here.
Yeah, that is freaking perfect.
Okay, you tell me.
Now you do the same thing with the top plate. No, top plate. Like I did the bottom. One through there into the top plate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's perfect, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now the wall's tied together. Now you can do all that angles all you want.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Now, this is going to happen fast from here. This is pretty awesome. All I need to do is add my little extension. All right, I'll come over here. Same thing. Tie the bottom plate to that wall. And at the top, make sure you're happy with that. It's flush as perfect as you want it. Okay. Now, you can also check for the depth here. This one's got a bit of a bow. So I'm going to push like this, and you can nail here. Right there. Got it. Now you can finish that.
We didn't get it. Or do we?
Yeah, you're hitting the outside there. So hit the right side only.
Okay.
Tie that together. Okay. The only thing left here beautiful. And then that's an outside drywall corner. Tie all that together from the base. Beautiful. Double, double, double. All right. Now, we're going to do the simple wall here because it makes our life really easy. We're going to hit that wall for the bathroom.
Okay.
Because that is the rest of that full line. Okay? Then we can drop our laser, tie to the floor, square, double top plates, right? So that everything is intersected twice. So it's not just fasteners. If I start from here going that way, this wall, that wall, and that wall are all tied together with the top plate. I just about ripped off my nipple there, yeah. Oh, man. I felt that. Woo! That was half good and half, that was half painful and half kind of enjoyable. All right, so listen. All right. Here we go. So here's our wall for this bathroom, right? There's no rules, there's no nothing, there's no electrical. This is about as straightforward a wall as you're gonna get. So we're just gonna go with X on the end, X on the end, nice and simple. And then we'll just run 16s on this. 32, 48, and 64. Well, for the sake of making life easy, I'm going to go here because it's more than 16 inches. Okay? And so now when I put my wall up and I build this wall to here, I've got a nailing surface for drywall on that wall. Okay?
So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 studs.
Yes, sir. And I need, we're right where we're going to build walls here, Joe. Just want to thank you for drawing attention to the fact that I just about impaled myself. That's funny. All right, there we go. Nice and easy. Now we're breaking our rule of building from the back, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, these are such short walls, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All righty.
We're going to actually have to slide your way a little bit.
Oh, boy. Yowzer. Yep, felt that one. All right. Okay. Woo. Good news. All I lost was skin. Ah.
Wasn't that bad, was it?
What do you got? 7 layers? I lost 6. I'm still closed up. It's not bleeding, but it's raw. Give it about 3 or 4 minutes, and that'll all be red. And it'll be a scab. That's okay. It's only skin, dude.
Okay.
I have lost more pounds of flesh in my life than that. I have done worse than that to myself, right? So I don't really care.
Looks like a paper cut.
Looks like a paper cut, eh? Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, Matt. I'm going to just mark off the rest of these 2 while I'm at it. And I'll let you build all 3 of these walls, all right?
Someone said good thing wearing a hard hat or would have been much worse.
Well, you know, I guess I could always wear gloves, but then I have a problem with that. I don't like wearing gloves. All right, we're gonna go 12 and 24 on this. All right. Listen, I don't have any problem with people who want to wear gloves at work. I have a problem with people who want to wear gloves while they're doing drywall mud. Oh, for the love of God. It's a water-soluble paste you're playing with. Give me a break. How in the world do you do drywall when you can't feel your tools? As soon as you put on gloves to do drywall, you just created yourself like an imbecile moment. It's like, I can't feel the tools or the texture of the wall. And come on. What's that one guy say there on TikTok? Be a man. Yeah. Listen, I know ladies are more manly sometimes when it comes to working with the tools. Yep. You want to be efficient, you got to feel what you're doing. You got to be able to see what you're doing. You got to be able to hear what's going on around you. Safety. I'll wear the hard hat to comply, but it's hot and it makes you stupid. Not enjoying it. All right. Safety, Dan. There we go, safety officer. Beautiful. That is a perfectly good wall. All right. You know what I just realized? We got to mark this one out for a door as well. We're going to mark this one out for a door and give us the maximum opportunity. Okay. So I'm going to go here. There. King and then a jack. Does that work?
Okay.
I can give myself more space than that.
Did you want to put this one up first and then build the rest, or do you want me to put this somewhere before we continue. I'll put it somewhere before we continue. Yeah.
Yeah, just throw it in front of the other bedroom, the other bathroom door. I think what I'm going to do here, Matt, is I'm going to break with tradition. I'm gonna give myself as much room as possible to build this door.
Good to go.
That one is, yeah. So I got to go 3.5. So I'm going to go king, king, jack. This is going to be odd on the inside of the door. It's going to I'm going to have to rip down the door jamb. Okay, so guys, here we go. 3.5 takes me to here, plus 1/2 inch drywall. Okay, if I go king, king, jack, I'm going to end up at 4.5 inches. I got a little space, and then I got about 3/4. There's my door jamb to finish drywall. I am only at 1.5 inches from the finished jamb to the drywall. So I'm going to be ripping my casing down, but I want to rip the casing behind the door there to create as much sweep as possible. Remember the original problem we had with this 28-inch door? My sweep is going to end up going like here. Sorry, I'm off my line. Yeah, something around here. And then my 20-inch, 6.5 inch is here. That's the most space I can give myself. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So then from the 4.5, I can go 28-inch door. I need 30-inch hole. I need to go 34.5. And here we are. Jack, king, jack and king. I'm actually going to measure this on for you this time, Matt, so it doesn't look so confusing. Okay. All right. And what do I got for electrical? It's inside the bathroom there?
Got $2 signs to the right of your doorway.
Okay. And then is there a wall plug?
What does the EQ mean?
Probably it's on the other side.
The EQ?
Yeah, let me see.
4 EQ.
Oh, all that business? Yeah, well, that's just blah, blah, blah. That's her. But I got a plug on the other side. So I just need a double. And then I need a plug there. And the plug is nice if it's in the middle of the counter.
Okay.
Okay, that's a 24.5 inch, 25 inch space she's calling for here, right? 28, 30. Okay, so it's a room for a 25 inch counter. Remember, when you're doing your bathrooms, there's 2 standard size vanities in bathrooms. One of them is a 24 inch cabinet, which gets 25 inch countertop. You want to have 25 inch countertop and space for your door casing so you don't have to cut around your counter. Door casing can be 2.5 or 2 1/8 if you need it. But that also means you got a 3 inch on top of your 25, your 28. Best to have a 28 inch frame and then space and then your jamb. Guarantee a gap. That finish is nice. That's the tightest you want to get, 28 inch frame. If you don't have that much space, you can go back to an 18 inch vanity with a 19 inch top. It's a shorter depth. Or if you're really tight on space, go with the pedestal sink. And then you don't have contact with the walls. It gives you a lot more freedom to have a shorter wall. Okay? I have tons of room here. I'm at 31 to the door. So even at 25 countertop, I'm fine. Because that's going to be my jack. I have space. There's my jamb casing. I got like at least 3 inches with a 25 inch countertop, so I'm fine. But knowing that I have a 25 inch countertop, I also want to go like this. If that's my 25, my midpoint here is 12.5. Okay. I want to have a countertop with the plug on the wall in the middle. That symmetry is important. So people attach things right-handed. If that's where my plug is, that's the middle of it. It's going to be 1.5 inches. Boom. I'm going to put my stud right here. So you can put the box onto it, tack it in, and then when I'm all finished, my electrical plug is perfectly symmetrical with the middle of my sinks. That's thinking in from the beginning. And there we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 pre-cuts. And then we got to do a couple of jacks for this one, okay? Here we go. So just so you know, I marked this out in the following manner. I put king, king, jack. Okay, so start off the edge, go king tight, jack tight. All right.
Okay.
So you're going to put those two on first, and then over here, it's actually that's my line. This was just me talking out loud. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
That is going to be very confusing. Let's go like this.
He just
Okay.
put his- okay. Yeah, I'll-
Is that okay?
yeah.
You can work with that?
Okay.
I can remark it if you want.
No, I think we've marked it up enough. I think.
Yeah, that's very confusing. Like I'm telling a story while I got my marker out. I'm like a kid in a sandbox.
It's like I played a game of handyman there. Or something.
You remember we needed a 86-inch frame, so 84.5-inch jacks?
Yeah.
You can cut those right away too.
84.5.
Take them out of that stack over there though. I think 84.5s. Yeah, okay. And then you can nail all the ends together. And then you can just measure across for your top. I'm going to get a drink. How are we doing for time here, guys? It's 3 o'clock. We've been at it for almost 3 hours, Eric. Not bad. My goodness. It's not that hard, really. I mean, we're moving kind of slow. That's all right. Oh, man.
All that mental
Yeah, that mental math, I would have called us.
Mental math. Yeah, well, you know. Hey, we don't even know if we did it right yet. Wait till we throw a laser line on there. Then we'll know. Ev is watching. Cheers, Ev. Great to have you in the show. My goodness. So far, I'm loving your design and solving every problem to go along with it. This is awesome. Nothing wrong with the design. I just run into my own problems trying to follow it. That's all. Okay, we got another member in the house here. That is a really difficult thing to pronounce, so I'm just going to go with it. I got a 1980 detached in the Greater Toronto area. The exterior foundation concrete has a black substance going up a couple inches above the soil. Is this some sort of waterproofing? Basement has been bone dry for years. If the substance that you see is made of black plastic, then yes, that is a membrane that goes right down over top of the footing, and then your weeping tile sits on top of that and gathers all the water that goes in the ground next to your house. The only thing that you got to do, because it's from 1980, they might not have had the U-channel on the top, and they might not have used their black caulking that goes along there to seal off the foundation so the rainwater can't get in behind it. So it's going to create a really good favorable condition. However, if you do have cracks in your foundation and you don't have that seal, then the water can eventually work its way through there, and that's what you want to be watching out for. It's more of an issue with the snow melt. And generally speaking, Toronto doesn't get much snow anymore, but we like to build with a 50-year life cycle. So while you're thinking about it, go out and check, see if you got it sealed off. If you don't, go Google the DMX AG, okay? And then you can read through the product literature and what's the best sealant for it that's on the market. It probably is for sale right next to it. It's most likely a polyurethane, and it's going to be black so that you can't see it. Anyway, yeah. Good for you. You got lucky because that was a pretty new product back in those days. And Laura says she's tiling a large part of our slab floor. Does it all have to be done at once? Contractor and tile guys say yes because leveler has to be done all at once. Can't you level a room or two at a time? Yeah, that's a little bit nuts. See, if I'm the contractor, and I got a homeowner and we're trying to develop a system so that we can work our way through the house, putting in the tile, so we don't have to evacuate you from living on the premises. I'm guessing that's what's going on, Laura. Then what I do is I would level up to a certain point, right? I would actually tap con a piece of lumber on the floor, level up to that point, and then tile up to a full tile behind that point. Because floor leveler doesn't like come off like powder. It actually is quite durable. And so I would then have my concrete floor, my floor leveler, and then my tile all visible in stages. And the last row of tiles that I put in, I would intentionally leave just a little bit of a gap there when I'm done, slide in all of my floor leveling clips, okay? And then what you do is the next day when it's all dry, you tap the clips out so you not have a tripping hazard. And then when you're ready to go to the next level, you can then level up to the pre-existing height that's visible. And then you can put those clips underneath those existing tiles to fill that space, and then you can continue leveling your floor. So It's, how should we say, inconvenient for the contractor. But so what, right? Let it be inconvenient. If he wants to charge an extra couple $100 for being inconvenienced by doing it like that, that's a conversation you guys can have. But it's definitely doable, and this shouldn't affect the outcome of the job. Generally speaking, most of us as contractors are rather lazy and prefer to do systems and things that get us in and out of the job as fast as possible. That's all. It's a personal preference, not a requirement, if that helps. All right. How you doing? Bang, bang, bang.
Kings and Jacks question.
All right. Oh, man. This is warmer than I thought it was going to be today, Matt. Okay, so floor?
That's the floor?
Floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just right
Somebody was asking about crown on the studs, making sure that it faces the right way.
The crown on the studs?
Like if the crown is facing the same way on all of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Crown is really important. Let's just, I'll just deal with that. Crown is when your wood is like this, okay? Or variations of it. Generally speaking, crown is more of an issue with floor joists, okay, or roof rafters. When it comes to walls, the lumber that we're cutting nowadays to make 2x4s is in the middle of the tree, and it doesn't really have a crown. It's all over the place, and it's a mess, and the lumber is actually from smaller trees. So we don't care, all right? You'll see there's two kinds of carpenters out there. The guys that'll go to the store, and they'll pick through the whole skid of 2x4s, looking for 10 perfect pieces of wood. All right. You might as well be in the glass slipper business looking for Cinderella. All right. It's just not going to happen. And then while you're doing that, you've left all the wood in a big freaking mess. Everything is twisted for the next guy that shows up. Do yourselves a favor. Grow up. Learn how to work with wood that's a little twisted and warped. Okay. Get yourself a hammer that's got a tooth on it so you can bend your wood while you're nailing it. Learn to use screws. Grab yourself a clamp. Watch what we've been doing here all day long, working with incomplete wood. We took the first 40 pieces off the pile, out the door, haven't thrown one out yet. It ain't necessary. You're creating work that doesn't exist, okay? Order your lumber. Let them deliver it. Who cares? If they send you a busted up pile of twisted crap, call them up and say, pick up this junk and deliver a fresh skid. And they will, because they know. And they'll never do that to you again. Anyway, if you expect your wood to be perfect, you're in the wrong business. This is not cabinetry, all right? This is framing. We have solutions to framing problems, and we can show that in another show. But just get the damn thing built. All right. Boom. That's correct. Is this all nailed down here?
So the two
Okay.
studs on the end are nailed.
So
Jack-
that's your jack there.
Okay.
Okay. And then where do you finish up here is the issue, isn't it?
I don't know. I kind of got confused with all
Okay. Yeah. All right. So nailed, right? That's your jack here. Boom. And then your header is going to be, let's call it 32 3/4.
So my jack starts on this line, and then
Yes.
just double it up after that.
Yep. And if you cut your 32 3/4, then you can establish that finish there. Okay. Hang on. That's supposed to be a 30-inch hole, right? Yeah. Okay. 30-inch hole. I'll try that again. Make sure I got this right, because I was fussing around a little bit. 33. Sorry, your header is 33. That should be. If it's a 30-inch hole, that makes more sense, doesn't it? That's just math. Man, holy cow, it's getting late in the day. All right. All right, 33. So cut a 33. You start with this assembly. Throw the 33 in. Get your finish nice and tight. Boom. Nail those. Done. And then we can put all this together, grab a laser, and go home. I'm just kidding. We actually have one more wall we have to build right here. And it's not really necessary to get every wall in the house on camera in this one particular show, but we're going to try. Because I want to be able to talk a little bit about what's going on with our structure. And we want to get some top plates built up here and a couple of other things. And yeah, I feel like, oh yeah. We got another 45 minutes in us. We'll get this done. All right. There you go. Now there's your assembly. Okay, so nail away. Come nail away with me. Well, instead of sail, it's nail. Come nail away.
I like it.
That was a little bit goofy.
I like it.
Yeah.
I want to, could you,
Want me to stand on this or something?
I'll just use it quiet.
Oh, okay. All right. So that, yeah, if you totally assemble that, and then you set your corner over here, nail your kings in on the top corner,
Yep.
and then you nail your jack down there on that second line, not the first line, because I'm an idiot. I was drawing air spaces right there, right? Visually. I'm just going to point it out because it's getting late. That's your line.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I'm creating confusion. I hate confusion. All right, Eric, hey, we got time for a couple more questions here, buddy. Let's do this. Hey, Sandy's in the house. What's up, girl? Oh, the Carolinas are here. That's awesome. Oh, my goodness. What are we talking about here before match time? My goodness. Oh. All right. Hey, girl. Eric, are you looking for questions for me?
Yeah.
Yeah? I know I'm surprised you with this one. Wasn't planning on being here myself. Random razor. You're on newer construction bungalow. The basement is framed and fully insulated with rock wool, but there's no insulation in between floor joists. Should I add it plus vapor barrier if it makes a difference? No. First of all, vapor barrier is a thermal barrier, okay? It's only on the outside of your house. You never use vapor barrier on interior walls, okay? Never. It's not necessary. So don't even bother with that. If you need something to keep the insulation from falling out, then just add strapping to your ceiling, okay? That's what you should do. Or you can put the plastic up to hold the insulation in until you're ready to close, but before you close, tear the plastic off. It shouldn't be there, okay? The nail away song, yeah, there you go. Beautiful.
Continuation of his other question.
Yeah. You know, but before I go into that, I just wanted to say, and if you're doing a new home and the specs don't call for insulation between floors, then you have to consider the reason why you're putting it in, and you have to make sure that you got the right HVAC system, because as soon as you insulate, you're interrupting with the heat rising through that floor, okay? Which means you've got to have proper cold air return, duct size in the rooms that you're heating, or you're going to be out of balance, right? You don't want to be out of balance. So make sure you pay attention to that stuff. You know, insulating for sound is one thing, but as soon as you insulate for sound, you're insulating for thermal as an accident if you're using rock. Okay. Darkest dot, took out 1-inch furring strips with white foam covered by wood panels, so anything current is an improvement. And there were areas without any insulation. Got you. Okay. But as soon as you did that, you are now subjected to replacing things up to code. You can't say, well, I ripped it out, so I'm just going to put something similar back. You got to come back to code. And not so much because of its, the nanny state. It's because of resale value of your home. Right? Consider it. Like when we pulled a permit for the basement, originally our plan was not to demolish the structural load-bearing walls downstairs. But what we found was it was an improper construction technique. We found this while we were excavating for our plumbing. And so that we decided, well, let's upgrade that system. Okay, great. But as soon as we took all the walls down, we were allowed to rebuild without a permit in Ontario. But as soon as we touched structure, we had to do everything on permit. Now, as soon as we're making structural changes, everything else has to be brought up to code as well. I can't just be like, cutting corners. Because my walls are 2x4 construction, theoretically, I could get away with putting R13 in the basement. But because I'm spray foaming, I get R20. Now the code says my upstairs and my downstairs got to match, right? So considering what you're dealing with, you still need to put electrical in. The law requires electrical every 10 feet. And if you don't have it and you go to sell your house, that home inspector is going to come through your property. He's going to, this wasn't done on permit. Just so you know, homeowner, your potential home buyer, the basement wasn't done on permit. We don't know what's going on down here, but it has zero value and you should probably ask for about 30 or 40,000 off on the sale price because you're probably going to have to redo it from scratch. And that's the kind of thing you run into when you're trying to save a few bucks today. You destroy your home's resale value. You don't want to do that. Talk about thinking end from the beginning. Think about selling the house. It's not always a seller's market, right? Like that comes and goes. Seller's market, buyer's market. And if you're trying to sell your house when people are able to say, no, I don't want yours, I'll take theirs instead, you're screwed. And you can really hurt yourself financially, majority, like big cash. If we end up in a place after the baby boomers are all dead and there's houses abundant everywhere, do you want your house to be on the market and then people are like bidding you down because there's other houses they can buy that have got permits with the work done? I don't want to be in that situation. I don't think anybody on my channel wants to be in that situation. Think about 15 years from now. It could be a situation where there's 5 houses available for everybody looking to buy. Can you sell your house in that market? That's how you should be renovating your house. All right. Matthew's doing all the work over here. I love you for that, but I'm going to get busy. All right. Look at this. Okay. I appreciate this extra king here. It probably wasn't necessary.
Oops.
Yeah. Whatever. It's symmetrical looking, though. The thing is I needed room for light switches. I got it. I need place for my plug. I got it. I'm fine.
Okay.
It's nothing wrong with extra lumber on an interior wall as long as everything still fits.
I thought I saw 2 Ks over here. So
Yeah, and then I kind of scratched them out. Like I told you, I really made a mess. I made it very confusing. No judgment at all. Like it's like, all right, buddy. Let's just get this one in the room and out of the way. All right, here we go. Done. Let's get the short one over there, and let's get this long wall here. We're going to pull out a laser now, and we're going to straighten out this line to make Ev extremely happy because she's going to want to see the world's most perfect straight line ever in home construction. Now, how wide was this supposed to be?
3 foot 9 inches, I believe.
Okay, so like the door is supposed to be as wide as the finished space, which is 45 inches.
We wanted 3 foot 9.
It's not perfect, Matt. I don't have as much space available as I think Ed was anticipating. Question is, there's my center line right there, coming off that tub. Yeah. See, in a perfect world, if that's my center, this would be a couple inches shorter. But you know what? I got to be able to get in the bathroom and close the door. So I'm going to sacrifice my custom order door to being a little shorter than the wall. Bummer.
Sorry,
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I hope you can forgive us, Ev. We had to make this decision on the fly. There's my camera. Sorry, Ev. We had to make that decision on the fly. All right. Let's grab the green laser. It's a little. Oh, yeah. Why don't you grab the green one, Bet? Throw it down there off that corner.
Yep.
And throw it right over to this corner. Okay? This is the money. All right, so here we go. Okay, so the first line we're looking at is here. Can you get that tighter to that frame?
I end up hitting the wall.
You're hitting something. Yeah, that's fine. All right. No. I want to just make sure that I'm also on my plywood. Here we go. So what I'm going to do, I want to just check from the outside wall to this wall. I'm sitting here at 91 3/4. Let's try to square this off a little bit. 91 3/4. Okay? I am completely parallel with the exterior wall. Whatever we do here, we're going to use the outside walls as our reference point. We get closest to the truth that way. And then I'm also going to look for my nailing pattern for my floor joists and look to throw a nail in those. And I'll tell you why. No one's running electrical or plumbing through a floor joist into a wall. So if you can nail where that floor joist is, you don't have to worry about anybody wrecking one of their bits.
Right.
Always think about the next guy, right? If I'm putting nails in the middle everywhere, the poor sucker comes along, how is he going to run his auger bits to drill holes, right? He's going to get creative and do weird things. We don't want weird things done. Leave the cavity as free of obstruction as you can. Whenever you're nailing, nail on the sides or find a floor joist and nail on that floor joist. No one's drilling through a floor joist to run any conduits, okay? Now, this is good. And you're saying we're hitting something here? Okay, so it's this part here, is it?
I mean, it looks like we're hitting the right side of this doorway here. See how we're clicking this? So this
Okay, we're just worrying about our bottom plate first.
Okay.
Okay? So I can manipulate this. So get me tighter. And then what am I hitting?
saying this.
You're hitting that. Okay, so here's the other way to do it. All right, because we got warped walls, all right, we can actually cut the plate out and then manipulate that. But what we got to do is we got to create a straight line. So we're going to go 2 inches off. That's really easy to do. Okay, so you set that 2 inches off, and I'm going to give you.
We mark 2 inches on that bottom plate on the far wall.
Well, what I'm going to do, Matt, is I'm going to get my measurement from the outside wall again, right over to here. Okay, so I am 136 1/4. Now I'm going to do that again over here. Now that we got the inside of that bathroom squared off, 136 1/4 to my plate. So, but there's 138 1/4. There's my mark. Okay, so, okay, you're on it. Okay, that green line is now perfectly parallel with the outside of the building. All right, and since it's 2 inches, I'm going to go to here. Wow, that looks a little wonky, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we're gonna, here, I'll kick out the bottom plate until we get to.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. What I want to do is get that green line on that black line, which we have, right? And I'm going to come down here and measure back 2 inches down there. So we get the right location. Remember, once we put all the corner beads on and add all the drywall and blah, 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 there's my 2 inch, okay? There's this point. Losing it.
All right, I got the wall.
Okay, that's my spot.
Okay.
That's 2 inch. All right. So, just like we did before, into the wall plate. Okay. Now, we are going to square that off in a second. That's perfect. Now I'm going to take my mark here, 2 inches. That couldn't be any better if you tried. All right. There we go. Let's bring on the short wall. And we just go flush. Weird how sticky that gets, eh? Okay, now you see that? We got a little bit, there we go. Okay, bring on the other long wall. Square that. We'll tack that corner. The triple of the door goes to the outside. There we go. Tight to the plate, yes, sir. Okay. And then we'll close this wall here. And we're only looking at the plate right now. Perfect. Okay. All right. Now, the only other thing we got to do is make sure, now that this is all location, so what we've done is we've created a distance from that wall to this line, 2 locations, marked it 2 inches off so that the bowing and everything of the walls doesn't affect the line. Drop that line right down to here, measure back 2 inches, measure back 2 inches, connecting the dots. All we got to do now is with this, which is 37 1/4, go to 37 1/4 this way, like 1 1/4 inch. Keep coming. Another quarter. Done. Okay, that's where we're going. Now, here's the trick. When you're tying into an outside wall and there's no blocking, right?
Yep.
Here's what we got to consider. We want to spray foam. And so we got to think for spray foaming now. We're tying into a wall cavity. We want to spray foam. It's one of the reasons we took that other stick out over there, because they can spray from the backside. But we don't want to just tie top and bottom and say good enough. Because once this is spray foamed, this wall still has the ability to move independently of the outside wall. And because this wood is going to come in contact with minus 30 degrees in the winter, it'll dry, okay, or it'll get rain. There will be some expansion and contraction happening. We want to cross block. So we have 4 nailing surfaces to hold that joint together.
So you want me to cut a bunch of little pieces for you that go to...
One here, so they goes cut it into thirds right now, okay? So I can nail the top, I can nail here, I can nail here, I can nail there.
Okay, so you want 2 pieces.
So you take the actual measurements, because they could be different. They'll be close, but they could be different. We put them in across, not on the flat. So we don't want to create a thermal bridging. So we'll go on the flat. So we have a nailing surface, and then they can get the spray foam in behind on all sides.
Okay.
All right? And you can just do that for that stud as well over there. Okay. Wow, this is absolutely freaking gorgeous. Yay! We did it. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah, so you're going to move that insulation. That's fine. That was just there to help make the studio sound a little better while we're working. So now we're going to cross block, like I said. So we're going to have nailing surface, bottom, middle third, and then top plate. We'll tie all this together. As soon as he can do that, we're good to go. The only other thing now, while you're doing that, Matt, I'm going to work over here, okay? And I'll do some more work around the top. You're going to use your nail gun. I'm going to use a drill if I have to. That's fine. I don't have a nail gun. Well, I have nail guns, but all of my stuff is compressor. And on this job, because we don't have enough electrical here, we tore it all out. The story is this. We had an aluminum panel, and it was only 100 amp. And we decided to rip all the electrical in the whole house out and have the electrician put in temporary service. So I got 2 20 amp services, that's it. They're both in the corner over there, one for upstairs, one for down. And that's enough power for us to run our studio so we can do the live show. So all of our tools now are on battery. By the way, shout out to Milwaukee. They make great tools. That's Matt's favorite. But this new Flex Volt battery and my Power Stack batteries, light years ahead of anything I've ever used before. Like we can run that chop saw all day long on one battery, right? This thing lasts forever. I'm loving it. We're going to have to do a video comparing the different batteries and the different power that they have. Anyway, we're in your way. Okay. Do you need another drink?
No.
Okay. Chris, can I get another bottle, hon? Thank you so much. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Now it comes, this is where the fun is. Boy, let's start out here. Let's start out here where we abandoned this crazy corner. And now we got everything nailed down, right? Now we nailed everything down, right? Or did we just confirm it?
We did that. Wait on the closest to the far wall.
Did we nail this?
No.
Okay. Where is the gun? Okay. Let me just, we got to make sure everything's nailed down now that it's in position. Okay. Floor joist, floor joist. Floor joist. Perfect. Okay, now I feel better. Holy cow. All right. All right, Matt, there you go. We can get rid of this now. I'm going to want to have my drill. And some shims, most likely. I'll keep a few of these handy. All right. I'm going to come out here. Now, one of the reasons you want to frame 16 on center is because they sell these benches. Okay? I call them the Jesus bench. Oh, I didn't frame 16 on center. When you frame 16 on center, these benches are supposed to fit. What the heck? What did Oh my goodness. Wow. I got a little bit too much creative license when it came to my framing here. There we go. I need to tie all this together now. Now, this wall is secured with this only, right? And that is not a great idea. Hey, Matt. No, forget it. I'm going to grab a stick. I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to create some stability on this. These roof rafters there. Okay. Good. Okay. All righty. Okay. Now, the crazy thing is here is that these are all getting replaced at a later date, and then we're going to build these walls right up to the ceiling, okay? So knowing the end from the beginning here, this one actually stays in place, okay? So, oh, for Pete's sake, why do I have a laser level in my pocket? That's making this very difficult. All righty. Let's solve this problem once and for all. Holy cow. Hey, have I mentioned how much I hate these screws? Yeah. Is it the bit? Like, it's a brand new bit, for God's sake. All right. You know, generally speaking, I'm a big fan of the Robertson screws, but for whatever reason, this DeWalt bit and this box of screws are just not getting along. It is driving me a little bit nuts. Driving straight in and it's giving me issues. Now that's a lot more stability, and I'll throw a couple more screws in above later. But right now, I want to get this tight. That's together. All right. This one. Over there. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure a top plate now that connects this one to this one and comes out to the outside. So I just got to get this measurement all the way inside the bathroom. Come on, honey, get in there. I want to see you nice and straight. And I'm going to hug it together. 43 3/4, I think. Let's try that one more time. There we go. 43 3/4. Okay. Hey, Matt. Can I get a 43 3/4? Oh, where are you? Oh, I thought you were behind the light over here and you were waiting on the do the saw. 43 3/4 if you could, sir. Yeah, and I'll take your nailer over here too because these screws are going to drive me crazy. Now, I got to make sure I'm flush on the outside as well as tight. Now, here's an interesting scenario. I thought we measured that to be perfect, Matt. Wow. There we go. Thanks, buddy. And if I take the nailer, that should be just enough room for me to squeeze this in. That's why we wear hard hats. Okay, I guess I'll go get that. That's still a perfectly good piece of wood. Alrighty. Alrighty. Ah! Groaning and grunting as we go here. Uh-huh. We'll try that again for the first time. We'll maybe push it in from the inside of the room this time. That might be not a bad idea. Okay, what's going on here? It's not supposed to be that snug. It's not, I'm just an idiot. That's all right. Can I take a hair off of that, oddly enough? Thank you. Oh. All right. Now that I got the clamp on, I'm going to go from the inside of that room. This would be easier with a bigger step ladder. Thanks, sir. All right. All right, I got this on here. Okay, now, let's get a full 8. Go this way. Yeah. Okay. Starting flush from that corner across, okay?
I don't know if I can reach that high.
Yeah.
Might be you.
This might be from the inside. Okay, I'm down to try that. I'll try anything twice. Can we get it in there? Yeah. Okay. Oh, come on, honey. You got something that I'm just, something is just a hair off over there. Like the wood is obviously warped. There's definitely room for it to fit.
Okay, you're gonna have to push it my way.
Yeah. All right. I can hammer it your way. You want to throw a clamp on it and force it over? Like if we clamp it so it goes down. Are we under?
Yep.
Okay. All right. This is fun. That's really wedged in there, isn't it?
How far did you want to go? All the way to the edge?
Well, yeah, preferably.
Okay.
But we could just cut a piece to go there too. Because I got to cut a piece at some point. I'd rather only cut one, but if it's going to be fighting with me that hard, I got to be able to.
Push up on the truss while you hit it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, got nowhere to swing from here. That's the only ninja skills I got, bud.
Let me push it my way. I'll hit it from down.
Hang on, I can use the hammer now. How am I doing? How are we doing?
Need a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Whoa.
Too far?
1/8 of an inch.
More?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's level it off. And then,
Right there.
okay. Okay, nail gun. Ay, ay, ay. I'm going to let you nail your top plate down first, okay?
Okay.
You just want to make sure that, Lord. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. Give me 2 seconds. We don't need to be in a hurry here.
I got it.
Okay. All right. Whoo. All right. Have I mentioned yet that renovating is different than building? We have floors and ceilings already in place. And nothing anybody builds is level, flush, and square. It ain't going to happen, folks. So when you're making modifications, you got to just roll with the punches. Oh, because the building ain't square. The wood you're working with ain't going to be straight. And it's all about the finish. And the finish is when you drywall. That's where you fix all your problems, in your drywall phase. So as long as your structure is built well and your corners are tied together, and anywhere where there's going to be a weak spot, you put screws in it. This is a great opportunity to explain something I've been trying to explain for years. Oh, you ready for this, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of you come and ask me, Jeff, I got a crack that keeps coming and appearing in my house. It's because somebody did this. They framed a wall with nails. They drywalled to this point, and then they put a new piece of drywall here and went this way. The crack in this wood, when nails only, is susceptible to moving. So if you have stresses and weights and shifting and expansion, contraction, drywall that meets this lumber and then drywall coming from this side meeting this lumber, this gap is only nails. This wood is going to do this over time. It's dramatic, what I'm showing you, but it doesn't take much to crack drywall. Anytime you've got that kind of a crack and it keeps coming, okay? I wish I had drywall here, I could explain this better, but it's only 1/2 inch thick. Take a 3-inch screw where the crack is, okay? Remember, it's 1/2 inch out for every 1/2 inch over. Go 3/4 of an inch over from the crack. Then put that screw on a 45-degree angle and screw like you're stitching a bad cut in your face. Both sides of that crack, like every 6 or 8 inches, and you'll tighten that wood together on the threads of that screw, and it'll stop expanding and contracting. All right? Let the screw do the work for you. You drive that screw right into the drywall, and what you're going to see is, as long as this head is disappeared, okay, through the drywall, so you can do a finish. Look at, that's what happens to the stud. Okay, you're in the drywall. The threads are on one piece. The threads are in another piece. Okay, and these 2 pieces of wood would be joined together with the threads of the screw. No more expansion contraction. The crack that would have appeared here is gone forever, and you don't have to open your wall to fix it. What you got to do is just risk that there's no electrical going through the wall. And if you're not sure, try grabbing that Wallabot or something, some kind of a device where you can check to see where the electricity is traveling through the wall. And if you're confident you don't have any electrical, drive a couple of screws in there, okay? And if you're not confident, poke a hole in the drywall so that you can like feel up and feel down with your finger, because you're going to be patching and repairing anyway, right? Throw a little foam in the hole when you're done, patch it up. Okay, there you go. There's a solution for about 45 million Americans who've got stress cracks from drywall where the joint is over 2 pieces of nailed wood together. That'll save your bacon. All right, now, where were we? Matt? Matt has the nailer? All right, it's 3:37. We got just a few minutes left. Let's just take a deal with this double top plate. All right, here we go. Done. Right? Now, how do we finish off to the ceiling? because we don't want this. Correct? Okay. Well, first thing we've got to remember is the trusses here are getting removed, right? And then this is going to become a flat ceiling. If I tie anything to these trusses right now, it could really drive us crazy later. So we're not going to mess with this today. But back here, from here on, this truss is staying, and this is my new ceiling height. So how do I attach all these together? Can I have the nailer?
Yep.
Joe, what do you got for an angle there? Yeah, that's okay. That'll kind of work. Let me get up nice and tall. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm going to toenail through my rafter on an angle into my wood from both sides so that it stops moving around. Okay. Now, whoa, 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 whoa. I should make sure it's level first. You want to throw a level on that and see if I got lucky? Or I'm going to have to get the reciprocator out. And I'm trying to move to this process faster than I really should be. Tell me I'm good.
What's our margin of error?
None.
Yeah, you're both an 8 though, probably.
It's my forever home.
You're within the lines, but
Which way do I got to go?
to the road,
To the road.
or sorry, to the backyard.
To the backyard. Okay. Grab me my reciprocator, please.
Okay.
You know, at least on this channel, when we make mistakes, and it happens, trust me. Helmets, heat, stupidity. Now I got my head in an attic. I bet my face right now is about 120 degrees. Oh. All right. Here we go. Cut the nail. There we go. That's not that big a deal, right? You don't move forward over that. Okay, Matt. So here we go. We're going to do this again. But this time I want you to put that level. I want you to put that level. Yeah.
It's all going to go to the backyard.
All got to go to the backyard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you yank on it. That middle cluster there.
Oh, I shouldn't do that.
Hang on. You said a quarter?
For a second?
A quarter?
Yeah.
We'll make a mark of a 1/4 inch. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'm going to hang this on my belt. Okay.
Hold on. Could you let go of it?
Yep.
To the road? To the road? To the road? Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't move. There we go. Now I got a mark. Beautiful. Now I can get up there and I'm going to nail in at the point that we leveled as close to it as possible. Am I still on my mark?
Yep.
What the heck? It's not engaging? Why is that not engaging?
Turn it off and turn it back on.
Battery.
Battery.
You got another one? Beautiful. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be pointing at you with this. I'm going to pass you the tool. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. I'll let you change that out. I tell you right now, I think my batteries switch out easier than yours.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to see if you struggle with it. Oh, well, okay. That wasn't much of a struggle. It's the user error. All right, how's my line?
Fantastic.
And then am I level that way? Off the end. That's also a consideration. We should do both ends of that wall.
Okay, so gotta go to the.
Watch it. Whoa, whoa. We nailed through the face. There's nails sticking out the back. Are you looking at them though? They're right there. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to do some funky stuff.
Okay.
Rick, can we have a set of hands, please? Actually, pair of hands.
This is kind of crucial, isn't it? That's holding that time.
I need you to tug it that way for me. And just apply some pressure and then keep going.
Oh, hang on, Matt, throw me the clamp.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to put a brake on the top of this when you get it in position so we don't have to hold it all day long.
And once we're there, you have to hold it.
Okay, go.
Okay, we are good right there.
And how are we on my line?
It's got to come this way now.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, got to turn the battery back on again.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Tell me. Okay. Double check it. Fasteners off.
Yeah, we're pretty close there. We're perfect here.
Okay. Going to continue on. This is the only issue, Matt, with not having anything in the ceiling for that top plate for an open wall. We're going to have to probably fix all that with drywall then. Okay? It's not the end of the world. All right, here you go. And can you just double check my my corner over there with the level? This is my last piece that I can actually tie in. So I want to make sure that the floor plate is, the floor plate is going to be perfect. How's that?
It's got to go away from me. Or sorry, towards you. Towards you.
Really?
Yeah.
How much?
Quarter of an inch.
Was the other side out a quarter?
Okay, how about you nail this truss here, and then we'll correct that over there, because the trusses are moving, right?
This is the problem.
So we got to nail in 2 spots, and then we'll have to tie it down to the floor or something after.
Okay, hold on.
So if
Let me just take a look.
Yeah, that's how far we are. We can't fasten.
Over 6 feet. So it's a quarter inch, top to bottom.
What we got to do is nail the top plate of that other wall to the outside wall. Push this one over and have a stud going across that walkway to nail both walls together to hold them.
Yeah, the challenge here is that we don't have them all tied together to the outside wall, and everything up top moves. I think the best plan for us is to get a 2x4 on the face until we get the ceiling rebuilt and everything's locked in place. Okay? So let's put up a temporary joining wall, find our level, throw a nail in it, then we can finish fastening this to the ceiling.
Yep.
Okay. All right, there we go. Yeah. But listen, the design is such that we're going to have this grand, glorious floor-to-ceiling door here. Okay? But now we've got a whole house that's moving. I can't get enough that I anchor this too, right? This is just the way it is. So we're going to get it in the right position. Here, let me help out with the... I'm vertically challenged. Yeah, I'm fine with putting a header like that. I just would like to get to at least to this point. So if you want to go there. Okay. And then this isn't going to happen. First thing we're going to do is attach this to our nailing positions over here and level this. That'll establish that. Then we can do that. All right. Make sense? All right. Let's get this done. And then I can go and answer a couple more questions. Watch your fingers. Okay, there's our ball. I can't see that. Hold on. I have no light. Here we go. Coming to the rescue. Can you see that?
I could just do both axles here.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Because then I can get my head out of the light. I'll just hold this tight to the wall. Okay, perfect.
I missed it. I'm joking.
You're a little low.
I'm joking.
One there, and then throw a couple on the top into the top plate. Okay. You're missing. You're going above it.
Am I going above it?
Yeah. You might have got it. All right, I got it.
Okay.
Throw a couple on an angle up there. Okay. Now we got that fixed to the house. So this one is no longer moving this way. Thank God for that. Now, if you can give me the nailer, and then you can push on that corner, and I'll nail this thing in, and we'll have it anchored. Wow. Woo-wee.
Thank you. That works.
Good. All right, and for good luck. All right. So now we have a wall that's not going anywhere. Okay, that makes a major difference. All right. Now, the last thing for us to do is really go around all the corners with the clamp, tighten everything up, because when you nail frame twisted lumber, everything grows over time. So you really want to tighten everything up. Fasten it with screws. That's your best bet, because then if you run into trouble or you find out later the hard hat's made your brain not work and you're out of alignment, you can back out the screws and then screw things together. All right, so let's go through this again. We got a toilet, we got a vanity, but a door swings out. I'm going to put a piece of lumber right here. That'll frame the door going into my bedroom. This is the bedroom. This is my bathroom. That's my toilet. We have a solution for that toilet issue. And this little nook right here, this is shelving. This is just open storage, right? So we're going to have some decoration, bath salts, rolled up towels, blah, 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 blah. That's pretty much it for me today, folks. My brain is dead. Thanks a lot for joining us. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. Help a brother out, all right? And make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know you think, oh, I don't need to subscribe. I'm not a joiner, Jeff. These things are important, right? The YouTube algorithm needs to know that you guys like live shows. So like the live shows, and we'll see you in the next one. By the way, don't forget, go to homerenovationdIY.com, sign up for our newsletter, and we can email you a notification for the next live show so you don't miss it. Cheers to next time.